Welcome to Texas football presented by HEB. Darrell K. Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium here in Austin, Texas, the capital city. The strong era, ready to get going. Dan McCarney brings in the North Texas Mean Green. The opening game, the 2014 season for both teams, and the Jetpack Man is off. Kevin Dunn here alongside former Texas DB Ahmad Brooks. We see the Jetman able to take off. I guess the question here in Austin is the Charlie Strong era going to take off, and how will it take off? 16 years Mack Brown was here, a new regime, a new culture, a new coach here for Texas.
Well, this is an historic moment, obviously, for Coach Strong being the first African-American head football coach here. But I don't think Charlie Strong is as interested in that as he is in the product on the field. He's got two goals for his student athletes. The first one is to graduate. The second one is to win championships. His legacy will be built on the field. It won't be built off the field.
We take a look at Charlie Strong's coaching stops. It's been a long journey to get here. 1995, he was at Notre Dame as Texas is ready to come out. Let's take a look at Charlie Strong's coaching stops. 1995, he was with Lou Holtz at Notre Dame. 1996, that team came down here to Austin and got a win. South Carolina was 1992 to 2002, decided to follow Lou Holtz there. Florida, he won 2 national championships as defensive coordinator and got his first head job at Louisville and was hired January 6th of 2014 here at the University of Texas. Take a look at his starting quarterback, David Ash. Missed 10 games a year ago due to a head injury. Ole Miss was the last time he saw the field on this field. And Ahmad, we've heard so many good things about David during the preseason. Obviously, a big question mark is going to be health, but what can Texas fans expect to see on the field if he is healthy?
Well, this kid is sharp. He's got an accurate arm, not to mention, I think, his command at the line of scrimmage to be able to see what's going on the other side of the field and put his team in the right place. He's certainly matured and improved. And then you talk about those series of injuries. One thing that Coach Strong talked about yesterday was getting this guy back to having the confidence he did in 2012, where he was 15th in the FBS in completion percentage. He was making accurate throws, the right throws. And so now it's just a matter of seeing if this young man has the confidence to come back out here and lead his team to a victory.
As you take a look at some of those highlights, or as David may say, some lowlights. You know, he began the season by throwing for 594 yards, had 4 touchdowns in his first 2 games, but against BYU, Ole Miss, we saw David when he was running and taking advantage of that athleticism, not getting down. Do you see David Ash run as much this year?
Especially with the pressure on Malcolm Brown and Jonathan Gray. I do think he will have some opportunities, perhaps in the zone read, or even when a play breaks down, to make sure you use those feet. He's 6'3", 220, and Big Boy can run.
Getting ready for the coin toss here. Red McCombs, who is a Texas alum, big donor, will be flipping the coin toss. You see Red. He knows something about football and taking control of football. He owned the Minnesota Vikings for a long time. let's head down to the field and join the third member of our team, Sean Adams.
Guys, Charlie Strong is so much about football. There's a reason why he's not standing here with me right now. He's about his team, but let's be honest, his team is very loose. David Ash, a guy who's always been seen as very docile and even kind of quiet, he's a guy that's dancing, he's making noise, he's having fun with his teammates. They are intent on getting things in the Charlie Strong era started off the right way.
Sean, thank you very much. You know, there's been a lot of culture changes here and a lot of changes in general.
Well, I think Coach Strong wants this group to play loose, so it's good to hear the reports that David Ash and the rest of his teammates are having a good time.
Texas has won the toss. They have deferred and will kick. Kicking to a North Texas team that had 9 wins a year ago. It's the second most wins in school history and the third ever bowl victory in school history. Dan McCarney said there wasn't much hope when I took over. We've given them hope. A new stadium to go along with it. And the expectations are starting to rise in Denton.
Katie, this place is rocking, my man.
You can feel it. Nick Rose will be kicking it off for Texas. Charlie Strong, his era is about to get underway. And Rose boots it out of the end zone for a touchback. Oh, the starting quarterback for North Texas, Josh Greer, a junior college transfer from Navarro, originally from Arlington, was about 180 pounds, but has filled out, and they expect him to come in and hopefully drive the bus like Derek Thompson did a year ago.
Well, that's going to be a tough task there for the young man. But what they were able to see during spring training, or pardon me, fall camp, was that this young man came in, he was very prepared, he was coachable and quick to learn.
One back set for North Texas. Longhorns come out in nickel. Greer fake to Pegram and incomplete. Looking for his tight end, Marcus Smith, but threw it behind him. Let's take a look at our impact players, brought to you by HEB.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks here, when he's playing healthy, this young man has the potential to be the best defensive player. Quandre Diggs has to step up, show senior leadership. And speaking of senior leadership, Cyril Lemon for this North Texas offense is the leader as a 4-year starter.
Give to Reggie Pegram, the senior. And Steve Edmond and Cedric Reed were there. Steve Edmond expecting big things from the senior linebacker. 3rd down and 10. Texas showing pressure. Ball on the ground, and Greer able to get back on top of it as Edmond was lunging toward him, but 3 and out for the Texas defense.
And that's an excellent way to start under Vance Befford along with Charlie Strong. You'll see here a 5-man blitz with a little twist on the inside where Texas, Greer, he got a little nervous, and you can see here he felt the pressure. Bad bobbled snap there. But the idea was number 33, Steve Edmond, was coming around on a blitz and probably would have gotten to him anyway.
Blake Mossick, the punt. Rugby-style punt. Gets rid of it. Jackson Shipley is back. We'll let that bounce, and it'll be down to the 35. So the Texas defense able to get a quick 3 and out and get the ball back to this Texas offense and David Ash. Mott, it seems like people talk about him staying healthy as much as they do just being efficient and effective.
But you see here, the young man has the experience with 23 starts. Those ranks there in the Big 12 are something that will go a long way in his production on the football field.
Malcolm Brown is the tailback. Swain in motion. Give to Brown, heading left. And a 6-yard gain for Brown. We expect to see a lot of that. Let's take a look at our impact players, brought to you by HEB.
At 28, Malcolm Brown is a downhill runner, and he's running with a different purpose now. Dom Espinosa will ID and also set the pass protection, and they'll have to keep an eye out for number 7, Derek Akune, a very talented linebacker from North Texas.
Play action. Ash looking for Shipley. He's got him at midfield. First down, Texans.
This is just a speed out. Go watch Jackson Shipley. This is what this young man is known for. Excellent feet. You see him get his body around, and he never misses a ball like that. Jackson Shipley hauling it in there for the first down.
Working on Kenny Byers. Last season, 10.5 yards per catch. John Watson, the offensive coordinator, said probably the most detailed player I've ever worked with. Brown. About the 46. Malcolm Brown had career highs last season after an injury-riddled sophomore year that really motivated him to come back last year, and he seemed to be running with a different edge last season.
He was, and he mentioned it. He said, you know, just being on the sideline was something that I wasn't happy about.
Get a fake the reverse, give it up the middle. North Texas, their defensive line, a nice job at the point of contact, and it's the first play for the Texas offense, and it's not gone anywhere. This is a relatively young North Texas front seven. They returned 4 starters on defense. 3 of those are in the secondary. And on the flip side, the Texas offensive line maybe has some question marks. Third and 5. Trips to the left. Ash across the middle. He had him complete, but stripped away, and it'll be 4th down. Laramie Lee made the play on John Harris, and Texas had the first down, but Lee made the play.
Just a high-low combination with Jackson Shipley coming underneath, John Harris going over the top. That's a catch that the senior has to make, as he was one of the most consistent players in fall camp for this team.
Will Russell come in to punt. Carlos Harris is deep. Harris, pretty dangerous return man. See if he gets an opportunity. High snap. Russ able to get it. A fair catch called for. Will be taken at the 14. Each team had an offensive possession. Scoreless here in Austin.
Football on Longhorn Network is presented by HEB. For all your game day needs, no store does more than HEB. And in part by the new Chevy Silverado, official truck of the Texas Longhorns.
Nice shot. The heat has not stopped. The tailgating here. Fans been waiting for months for this game. Both North Texas fans and Texas fans. Mean Green coming off a 9-win season. Texas coming off an 8-win season, but with a new coach. Second possession for North Texas. Greer will hand it off. And Jimerson is going nowhere. Antoine Jimerson met. That's going to be a loss. Cedric Reed with the tackle. Well, Texas has been excellent in openers. Charlie Strong trying to continue that trend. They've won 14 straight. Last loss, 1999 against NC State. 3 block kicks. I will say this, though. Ahmad Brooks had an interception in that 23.
Don't remind me, KB.
Another give, tripped up, is number 26, Jeffrey Wilson. We're going to see a lot of Wilson and also number 29, Willie Ivory. They're 2 freshman running backs. We're going to see 4 backs from North Texas, and they've got some nice depth there.
They're looking for an answer, and to my understanding, these freshmen are exciting, and they have the confidence in them to throw them out on the field in their opener.
Wilson a little bit more of a physical back in between the tackles. 3rd down and 8 coming up. Trips to the left. Josh Greer, the JUCO transfer, taking the snap. Greer floats it, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Dylan Haynes, the walk-on, all the way back to the 19.
That is exactly what this Texas defense needed here. You see Michael Thompson down here at the bottom, but what an excellent job of the linebacker there. Pardon me, that's Shiro Davis dropping back from the inside. You see him there just enough to make that quarterback throw it over, and it was out of the reach of the wide receiver. A tip pass. Dylan Haynes doing a nice job of hauling in and making sure he picks up some yards. And look at my man, the defensive coordinator. That's how you play defense.
It's Bedford finally back home. The Texas X. Texas in great field position at the 18. Ash fumbles the football, able to get down on it, but is tackled for a loss. We've seen each team now have a problem with the snap.
Looked like it might have came a little early there for David Ash. As you could tell just by the look and expression on his face, he wasn't quite ready for the snap.
Espinoza, the cerebral center. John Harris able to hold on to this one, but he's hit right away. That was Jamal Marshall, the linebacker, who helped force him out. And John Harris, one of those guys who's seemingly had a great spring camp and workout camp every year he's been here, but has not put it together while he's been at the 40 acres. And they think coaching staff feels like this is the year he's going to do it.
This is a big, strong kid, and he has the potential to dominate defenders, and that's where they're trying to get him in his game to maximize his talent.
Split left, Jackson Shipley and also Marcus Johnson. Now Harris in motion. Ash, plenty of time. Now it's going to roll left. He's going to flip it, but flip that out of bounds, and it'll be 4th down. Good defense by North Texas.
There wasn't really anywhere to go with the football there. Nice job of protecting up front. It was only 4-man pressure. North Texas going with the side. The decision to make sure they just keep numbers back. And there, David Ash taking a lick. Looked like it might have been right on the brink of being a safe play, but David Ash has to do a good job of protecting himself and this team.
Anthony Wallace. Nice job of pressuring him. Nick Rose, the junior from Dallas. He's got big shoes to fill. Anthony Farah, Nick Rose, a finalist a year ago. 33-yard attempt. This is low.
Delay. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
If you follow Texas football or Big 12 football or Southwest Conference football, you probably recognize referee Randy Crystal.
And that last play, someone forgot that they were supposed to be out on that unit, and that's why Texas had a delay of game call. Somebody running on the field late.
It's a 38-yarder now. The right hash mark. Plenty of leg. And it is no good. He pushed it, so Dan McCarney and his defense with the stop after the turnover. We're scoreless from DKR. Welcome back to Austin, Texas. Kevin Dunn alongside Ahmad Brooks. Almost a packed house here at DKR, Texas Memorial Stadium. Nice little collection of green as well. Got Texas football presented by HEB. 3rd possession now for North Texas. It's had 6 plays and 0 total yards. And with that -1, that's to go along with the fumble they recovered, but also a pick, AB.
That's good defense right there by Malcolm Brown. He had double-digit tackles for losses a season ago, and the word on this kid is that he's just mean. He's vicious, and he's a mountain of a man and very difficult to move in the middle of that defense.
Coaching staff's happy that he's been able to drop some weight. And once again, the Texas defense all over it. Ced Reed, who had 10 sacks a year ago, coaching staff thinks he could have an All-America type year.
Well, that was an All-American play. I mean, he just blows through the line of scrimmage and chases down the back here. Watch him to the bottom of your screen, and you see him. Excellent job there.
Incomplete. And North Texas trying to pick up the tempo, but the Texas defense is ready. Duke Thomas, number 21, a junior cornerback, with the play, and once again, 3 and out.
I really like this kid's demeanor. He's very calm on the football field, and you need that at the cornerback position. Texas staff is really looking for him to have a big season opposite of Quandre Diggs.
Mosick to punt. Quandre Diggs can be a return man, but they have Jackson Shipley actually back now. Shipley will take the fair catch. Both Diggs and Shipley very secure with the football. Another Longhorn who's been pretty secure when he's been on the field is Jonathan Gray. 205 touchdowns at Aledo High School. That is a national high school record. 701 yards rushing his freshman year. That led the team. He was able to miss the final 4 games of last season. That was due to a torn Achilles. But if you talk to Malcolm Brown, who's one of his best friends on the team, he says he is not only back, he's 100%. Jonathan did his first bit of action here. Texas a little confused there. Looks like we're going to take a timeout with the Longhorns as they get things sorted out.
You're watching the Longhorn Network. Hooker.
We're back at halftime to discuss all things North Texas and Texas. We'll also look ahead to the second half. And after the game, it's Texas Game Day Final, powered by Chevy Silverado for in-depth post-game coverage and analysis. Texas halftime and Game Day Final right after the game, tonight only on Longhorn Network. Also available live on Watch ESPN. You see the guys there, and I believe I spot 3 members of that 2005 National Championship team. Of course, Vince Young and David Thomas, LHN analysts. And in the middle, well, an LHN star, but of a different variety, Casey Studdard. First down and 10 for Texas. Gray. He was drilled by Anthony Wallace. The linebacker came over to clean it up. Wallace, an interesting guy, a transfer from Oregon. He's a guy who they feel like at some point can really help this team out. Third down now for Texas. Mod, what are you seeing from the Texas offensive line so far?
Well, I'm seeing more from the North Texas defensive line, and right now they've got their hands full with a bunch of young guys that are playing with a lot of guts.
Third down and 6. 3 wide receivers set for Texas. Ash steps up down the middle and dropped by John Harris. And a penalty flag comes in late. I think Texas may get a call here and probably will result in a first down. Sheldon Wade, the guy not happy with the call so far. We'll see what Randy Crystal has.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 24. It'll be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, but an automatic first down.
And Ahmad, not a lot of returning starters on this team, but the secondary does have some veterans.
Yeah, an excellent job there by David Ash of evading some pressure. And John Harris, this has been one of the knocks on his games, that sometimes it's hard to find him on game day. This time, David Ash doing an excellent job finding the window, and Texas was bailed out on a silly play from North Texas, and that was the reason they moved the chains.
Ash overthrows Jackson Shipley. They would like to have that one back.
Yeah, well, I think part of the reason why he threw this thing high was to protect his wide receiver. As you can see, there was a charge. Both guys on the outside edges, number 31, Kenny Byers, charging with speed and coming up quickly. He felt like that was a dangerous situation and threw it a tad bit high.
Second and 10. Give to Gray. Heading right. Gonna get the corner. Stumbles a little bit. Still able to get positive yards, and he'll make this third and short, third and medium. You mentioned Malcolm Brown. He and Jonathan Gray, they compete to make each other better, but also kind of turned into best friends. Malcolm said Jonathan is amazing how he's come back. Ash under pressure, going to try to evade it. Heading right, now we'll throw it to Harris. He holds on all the way down to the 10-yard line. Little ad-libbing from 14.
North Texas got caught on the blitz. And you see here David Ash's athletic ability. They bring 6. And there's only 5 blockers. And David Ash, recognizing that at the line of scrimmage, you can see him there. He sees the blitz coming right up the middle. And John Harris doing a nice job of carrying through on the route and not giving up on his quarterback and finding some space.
So James Jones, 13, have to make a decision whether to stay with Harris or come up and get Ash. And also, Jerry and Roberts, number 30, actually had a shot to get him there, but nice athleticism by David Ash.
Substitution, infraction on the defense. 12 people were lined up. Be a 5-yard penalty, first down.
Let's take a look at the scramble again, AB.
Well, I mean, I love the fact that he recognized it before it got there. And that allows a quarterback time to find where he can get out of the pocket. You see him there. Nice block to be able to create some space on the outside for him. But David Ash, it was his awareness at the line of scrimmage that blitz was coming. The defense showed it, and he knew.
1st and 5, Texas can get a first down at the 2. Give to Malcolm Brown. Inside the 5. Second down, about 2. Texas 57% in the red zone last year. 4 touchdowns, 42 tricks. Alex Delatorre, the fullback, Malcolm Brown, the tailback. High formation. Give to Brown. Heads right. Bowls over a couple mean green defenders, and we'll have a first down. It'll be 1st and goal for Texas.
And this is where you gain confidence as an offense and an offensive line. Anytime you get in that red zone, the pressure's on. And I will say this, Texas has gone to that right side of the line quite often, behind Kennedy Estelle and Kent Perkins, along with Dom Espinosa in the middle. And they found success running the ball on that side.
Marcus Hutchins now has moved over to right tackle. We're going to see Kennedy Estelle play both of those. Hutchins, a surprise starter for a lot of Texas fans. Malcolm Brown! Touchdown, Texas! Play, 63-yard drive, and Rose on for the extra point. First touchdown of the season for the Texas Longhorns, and it's another one for Malcolm Brown. 7-0 Horns.
Get in that stands right now. Cheer us on the victory. North Texas State, when they're on offense, should not hear a thing. They should not be able to check. Why? It's standing room only. It should be 105,000 fire marshals outside saying, get out.
Saturday night at 7 o'clock, we're going to need your support. And I know we're not going to sit on our hands. We're going to get loud. We're going to rock this stadium. And you're going to lead this team to victory. Let's get it right, y'all!
I think the Texas fans have shown up. Vance Bedford talking to his fellow alumni. He played football here, and Wanted to make sure that they were ready to see the Strong era get underway. Then Charlie Strong at the Texas kickoff rally, seen right here on LHN, was going to make sure he backed it up too. And a pretty good crowd so far for a game that could be pretty hot.
That gets your players believing. When your coach will make a comment like that and go out on a limb and say show up for the show that you're going to see, they like it.
James Jones, Carlos Harris deep. And Rose once again able to boom it. Leg strength not a problem for the young man. 7-0 Texas. Kevin Dunn, Ahmad Brooks here at DKR. And it has been tough sledding for the North Texas offense. Texas defense tackling was an issue a year ago. It has not been thus far.
And a lot of that starts with practice. It's very easy to be able to be good at the fundamentals when they're emphasized in practice. And I thought Texas did an excellent job last year when Greg Robinson took over, going back to the fundamentals, reteaching some of those things that some of the players weren't showing on a football field. And it doesn't surprise me at all today. After the physical camp that Texas has had, Charlie Strong, Vance Bedford have made an emphasis on making sure this team will tackle and they'll do it together.
We talked with Strong yesterday and he said, yeah, some of it's being physical, but even when you try to be physical, you got to be smart and still tackle with proper technique. Ball at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Greer with counter action to Pegram. Gain of 5. Desmond Jackson. Also Ced Reed with the tackle. Tempo for North Texas. Once again, Pegram going to break left. Has a 1st down. Exactly what the Mean Green's been looking for, Ahmad.
Yeah, and Pegram's a downhill runner. He usually runs inside the tackle. That's a rare play for him to bounce it outside like that.
Greer tried to check down to Pegram and just threw it behind him. He was under some pressure.
Both D tackles getting up some push. Desmond Jackson along with Malcolm Brown in the face of the quarterback.
Peter Jenkins will come off. Dylan Haynes, the walk-on safety who has an interception in this game, will come on. Texas will play some nickel here. 4 wide receivers set. Greer in the shotgun. Texas with some pressure. Gets it outside. Tackles made by Michael Thompson. Carl Caldwell with the catch.
This is just a great open field tackle. And on situations like that, Vance Bedford and his staff just want to keep everything in front of them and do exactly this. Come up, make a play. That was something that Texas struggled with last season, particularly number 2, Michael Thompson, but he's much improved coming into this year.
Texas fans getting on their feet. 3rd and 6. Greer overshoots his man. Was looking for Antoine Jimerson. He was coming out of the backfield. So far, so good for Vance Bedford and his defense. Eric Kina actually is going to come on to punt now. Sophomore. And Jackson Shipley is deep. Texas comes after it. And Shipley receives it at his own 23. Couple moves, and there's nowhere to go. He is taken out of bounds. Well, Texas has been able to move around David Ash so far, and that's something that Sean Watson said is a key to keeping him healthy.
The coaching staff knows that to protect him, they want to move his launch point, where he throws the football. Here you see a quick 3-step that keeps the pressure at bay. Now you'll see a rollout. Once again, moving him around, making it hard for the defense to hit him. hard to hit moving tackles, and then a scramble. Last but not least, that play started with him recognizing what the defense was giving him and making an excellent play by buying his team time.
Texas was in the ace formation. Two tight end set for the Horns. Little bootleg, throw to John Harris, and just as we talk about changing launch points, there we go.
And this was play action. When you have a successful running game, this is how you set them up. David Ash there doing a nice job of faking. John Harris coming from the backside. It was a surprise to the defense that he ended up over there, and so the players in the secondary had to scramble and come up quickly to make a tackle.
Second down and 4. Texas leading 7-0 here. Left swing. I'll come back to play fullback. Quick throw to Shipley. Good block by Marcus Johnson to the 35 and knocked out of bounds.
Katie, if you want to see the maturity of both David Ash and Jackson Shipley, right here they recognized. I have a feeling that was a package play. David Ash had a run and a pass, did a nice job of recognizing a high safety and knowing that Jackson Shipley can win that matchup.
2 for 2 outside of the pocket for 33 yards, putting pressure on the defense with his feet and arm. First down and 10 from the 38. Give to Jonathan Gray, spin move, somehow gets out of there, and an 8-yard gain. And that looked like it was a loss for sure.
Well, he's healthy with that nice spin move, and the acceleration to come through was awesome. Let's take one more look at this. You see, Jonathan Gray recognized his play was designed to go outside. Very shifty move. He gets back inside and always falling forward, fighting for tough yardage. As you see Dom Espinoza getting his hands on the play for sure.
Alex Lincoln, 95, was the guy who was juked out. This is Alex's 22nd birthday. Happy birthday. Jonathan Gray, another play action boot. MJ McFarland now with the catch. Inside North Texas territory, and like John Harris, another guy Texas is hoping they can lean on this season.
Yeah, once again, the exact same play from last time. This time it's MJ McFarland coming across the field, and number 8 for North Texas just didn't quite see it. Jamal Marshall missed out there. He got sucked in on the run and allowed MJ McFarland the space, and David Ash the time for the nice completion.
Ash now 6 for 10. Under 10 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Malcolm Brown, right side, lowering the shoulder. That's going to end the first quarter with Texas leading North Texas 7-0. Well, the scoring drive started with Ash using his feet, finding John Harris, and then Malcolm Brown loving it. 7-0 UT.
You're watching the Longhorn Network. Hook 'em horns.
Come true.
As a graduate, he created the Normandy Scholars Program and generously supported athletics. For valor and loyalty, Frank Denius, he's a Longhorn legend.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas. Looking at the 360 bridge. Great crowd here in the capital city. Texas leading North Texas 7-0 as we start the second quarter. Stevie Ray Vaughan, an Austin legend, passed away about 24 years ago, but people in this city have not forgotten Stevie Ray. David Ash under center, play action. Looking to go deep. Now we'll just get rid of it. Jackson Shipley was double covered. Good coverage by Sheldon Wade. Also James Jones.
Texas keeping in an extra man there to protect. And when you do that, you have fewer wide receivers downfield. North Texas a few times already this evening, has done a very good job of protecting themselves by keeping everything in front of them, and they did that on that play as well.
Big 3rd and 6 coming up here. Longhorns will stay with a 3 wide out look. Shipley's in the slot. Malcolm Brown behind David Ash. Sling it out to Brown, and coming up to make a great tackle is Kenny Byers. Junior cornerback read that the whole way.
Now, this is the second time I've seen him make an intuitive play. This time, before Malcolm had even caught the ball, he was on his way downhill going to the ball carrier. It's a former walk-on.
It's a great story.
He's now earned a scholarship, and how do you keep a guy like that off the field when he's making those types of plays? That was a very, very intelligent football play.
A year ago, they were seeing if Kenny Byers could help them out. As Ahmad mentioned, a walk-on has played so well that he is now earned himself a scholarship. Carlos Harris will take this at about his 10. Couple moves and going nowhere. Texas special teams all over it. Peter Jenkins, the junior linebacker from Dallas.
Our network, presented by HEB, is brought to you by American Campus Communities, where students love living. Reserve your housing online today at livewc.com.
Beautiful look at the state capitol here in Austin. Texas football presented by HEB. Longhorns with a 7-0 lead over the Mean Green. Where Texas has not had great field position. Started at their own 25, own 14, own 21. 25 again, and now at the 17-yard line. Nice game there for Reggie Pegram. Pegram, the senior running back, a transfer from Purdue, is from the Dallas area. Got a little homesick. And nowhere to go here, and a flag comes in the area usually of holding. Ahmad, we listen to Randy Crystal here to find out what we got.
Personal foul, chop block, number 71 and 57. He half the distance to the goal, 2nd down.
It's Antonio Johnson, 71, Mason Wybarbo. Wybarbo, one of the senior on this experienced front. Maybe a lot of people looking at this game thought the best matchup was this Mean Green front against the Texas front.
Yeah, and you see here, they're doing everything they can to try to prevent them from wreaking havoc. That time, a high-low block. It's illegal here in college, and the refs were all over it.
2nd down and 15. Quick give to Jimerson. Check that. That was actually Willie Ivory, the freshman. He and Jimerson both about 5'9", little scat backs and jitterbugs.
Well, this is why it's good to see number 3 back on the football field. He just did a nice job of fighting through his blockers. He kept the play alive, even though it looked like temporarily he may be blocked. And on the end of that thing was a treat. It was a tackle. And this is a tackling machine who likes to rack up tackles.
3rd down and long. Greer will hand it off, and nothing going for the Mean Green. Went back to Pegram, but Quandre Diggs was there.
Well, you're seeing it. For people who were wondering whether this Texas team would show the influence of Charlie Strong, there you see Quandre Diggs just completely fly up and lay the wood. And on his back was number 88, Cedric Reed, chasing balls down from the defensive alignment and the secondary. Not bashful to come up and beat down the back.
Texas winning the time of possession right now. Punt is away. Shipley will catch it at his own 36. Couple moves. He dropped at about the 43. A lot of changes since Charlie Strong took over in January for Mac Brown. Players not allowed to throw up the hook 'em sign during fall camp. The Longhorn decal was taken off the helmets. All players and coaches, yes, coaches, moved into Jester Dorm for fall camp. The players walk about a quarter mile to the practice field. Used to use those nice AC buses. Ash, quick throw, it's knocked down. Derek Acuna. Acuna probably their best player, and Texas lost some pretty good players. You see Joe Bergeron, Chavosky Collins, Jalen Overstreet, a couple running backs there, 2 receivers dismissed from the team. Chet Moss should make it 3 running backs, and then Desmond Harrison, Dejae Johnson, and Josh Turner are suspended for at least this game. They have not been kicked off the team, though. They've still been practicing. Jonathan Gray and nowhere to go. Ahmad, what's your opinion on really all the changes, and especially the culture change that Charlie Strong has tried to implement?
I think you recognize a Texas guy when you go out on the football field. Those dudes do the right thing. They're positive. They're coachable kids. They have faith in their skills, and they never quit. And on that list, there were some players that Charlie Strong said they weren't our kind of guys. That being said, he had to part ways with them, and I thought it sent a strong message to the players that are here. Now he's got guys that want to win.
3rd and 12. Ash is sacked. Jerry and Roberts able to come in, and the Texans offensive line with a little bit of a breakdown.
This pressure just comes right up the middle. And that is a 4-man rush. It's very rare that teams get home base. I can tell you right now, Joe Wickline is not happy on the sideline.
Punt is away, does not take a favorable Texas hop. Caleb Blewett able to down it. One more look. Roberts is actually filling in for Darrell Mason, who's got an ankle injury. Well, Texas showing some depth on defense.
Here you're just going to see some plays from this Texas defense, them bringing ball to carriers down on initial contact. No missed tackles here. Steve Edman, you saw Malcolm Brown the previous play. But notice, ball carriers aren't moving through tackles. This is the improvement that this defense has made there. Perfect team tackling. That's awesome. That's fun to watch, and they should be very proud.
What was their biggest problem fundamentally tackling last year?
I thought improper angles. Sometimes they were coming in behind the ball carrier instead of making sure that their heads were across the bow.
Kevin Dunn, Ahmad Brooks here at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. Give to Jimerson. Antoine trying to feel out that right side. He'll be tackled by Jenkins. Here's what the Mean Green have done tonight. The 5-play, 15-yard was probably the most successful drive they had. You got to really focus on the Texas defense, and especially that front 4. Vance Bedford said they're going to win this game. 2nd and 7. Greer intercepted. Jordan Hicks spinning away from Mean Green tacklers. The 2nd pick for the Longhorns.
He's not only one of the most talented players on this team. His teammates, his coaches brag on him religiously about his intelligence. And here you'll get a chance to see it. Watch number 3 in the middle of your screen right there. He recognized with that small look outside that both routes were coming in. Watch his head. Excellent job. One more look, and he gets right underneath the slant route. Jordan Hicks, when he's on the football field, this defense plays completely different. That's the type of senior leadership and production that is needed for Texas to go out and win championships.
We talked about it. Vance Bedford said, another coach on the field, obviously you lose athleticism in plays like that, but you can get guys lined up. Play action. Ash looking for it all. He's got his man inside the 5. John Harris again.
This is just a crosser. He's trying to find space. He's trying to clear through there. And once that defensive back is looking at numbers, David Ash knows that he's got something over the top. And that's something that'll make your ball coach very happy. As he said, keep it going, keep it rolling.
First and goal. Under 10 minutes here. Malcolm Brown is the back. Jeff Swain in motion. Going to give left where Swain went. Brown puts his head down. They're going to give it to him. Yes. Touchdown, Texas. Of course, you got to cross, AB.
Cedric Flowers leading out in front, and this is the second touchdown from Malcolm Brown tonight where he's just shown force and his ability to run downhill and punish defenders. He is not stopping at initial contact. You see his feet still churning, fighting for extra yardage and to put points on the board.
Rose will tack on the extra point. Maybe the two best players on each team. Malcolm Brown meet Derek Akune. Brown with the win. Malcolm has been very successful up the middle. Texas leading North Texas 14-0. Longhorn football brought to you by HEB. Kevin Dunn, Ahmad Brooks, third member of our team's on the field. Sean Adams.
Guys, I'm looking at this defense right now. They're coming to the sideline, and they are sitting down, and then they go on the field, and they create a 3-and-out, and then they come sit down again. A very workmanlike effort from this defense, and they're performing really well tonight.
Sean, what has the mood been like down there for Texas under Strong's first game?
I think the mood's been great because he's been over there a couple of times to talk to the defense, make sure they have their cues, make sure they have their marching orders, and they've been fulfilling those things out on the field.
Thank you very much, Sean. Nick Rose to kick it off. James Jones and Darvin Kidsey back. This will not carry nearly as well as his last couple kicks. Taken all the way up to the 30-yard line. That was actually Carlos Harris who was back there. Here's Strong after the Jordan Hicks interception, which set up that second touchdown.
Did you see him there? He's asking why he didn't have a little wiggle after that. Get by somebody, big fella. And that's what the players have said about Coach Strong. He's very direct when he needs to be, but he likes for his players to have fun. He's joking around with them, and he's keeping it loose.
Well, Texas will start at the 31. Give to Pegram. Not much. North Texas has gone to Andrew McNulty, the junior quarterback. Coaches said they would like to stay with Greer, but if the offense is struggling or if Greer is struggling or both, they will go to McNulty. Saw what he did last year, 5 for 6, and backing up Derek Thompson, who was an all-conference quarterback and left as the #2 career passing leader in North Texas history. 2nd and 9. Will keep it himself and bring up 3rd down.
And this is the extra element that McNulty has in his game, the ability to run the football a little more athletic than Greer. And this guy, Dan McCarty, knows that this defense over the last couple years has struggled with dual threat quarterbacks. So McNulty getting a chance here, and expect to see him run the football more.
McCarty was an offensive lineman at Iowa for Hayden Fry. Certainly his mentor. We'll get into that a little bit later. 3rd and 4. 4 wide receiver set. Under pressure of McNulty, and down he goes. DeMarco Cobb's the first one to get him.
Vance Bedford dialing up the blitz. Here you see it. 6-man blitz. DeMarco Cobb's free. Michael Thompson coming from that slot position, and they get home base. And if you would have seen it on the outside, Steve Edmond was locked up in coverage, 1-on-1, Had that play not gotten to the quarterback, it could have been a big play for North Texas, and the Horns are happy it did.
Big gamble for Vance Bedford and the Texas defense. It pays off. Eric Keena gets the punt off. Jackson Shipley underneath it. Will take it at the 38 and be knocked out of bounds near midfield. On Monday night on LHN, you can get an in-depth review of the Longhorns' last game. First at 6, lifetime Longhorns David Thomas and Dan Neal will give you Texas X's and O's on Upon Further Review. We're going to have some fun with that one. Then at 7, Coach Strong breaks down tonight's game on Rewind with Charlie Strong. It's Upon Further Review at 6 and Rewind with Charlie Strong at 7. Here's what Texas and North Texas have done. It's been all Longhorns in terms of total yards. 2 tight end formation. Give to Jonathan Gray, heading left. Tripped up at about the 50. James Jones with the tackle. Gray, one of those Longhorns trying to come back after being injured for the season last year. Tore his Achilles and on one of those plays, Ahmad, where no one was around him. A freakish injury.
Yes, it was. He's worked hard to get back out on the football field, and it looks like his quickness has restored.
This is Dad James, the legendary running back at Texas Tech. Little waggle action, and Ash just flips it to MJ McFarland. They heard the whistle blow. I'm not sure if Ash was out of bounds. They're going to call it a completion to McFarland, so it'll be second down, or third down, excuse me.
Yeah, MJ McFarland there with the extracurricular activity. Those are things that, as a coaching staff, you've got to make sure you talk to your players and keep them calm. MJ knows that, and I'm sure his coaching staff has already warned him of that.
Not sure what happened there. Third down and 7. Texas picks up the pressure, and John Harris able to hold on to it. John Harris having a breakout game here against the Mean Green. And penalty flags are coming in. Randy Crystal, referee, finding out exactly what's going on, and here's your call.
The result of the play is a first down. After the play, personal foul, number 55. It'll be a 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Well, we saw the Texas offensive lineman coming up, Ahmad, to help out, and it's going to go on senior Dom Espinoza.
He's aggressive, and right now, this senior class wants to win. It's not the smartest play, especially from a veteran player like that, but John Harris is really taking advantage of one-on-one situations on the backside, and he continues to beat the cornerbacks.
1st and 10, 5:20 to go. Hand off to Gray, heading left to the 40, to the 35, 20. Jonathan Gray inside the 5-yard line. Zach Whitfield finally pushed him out.
That is a good sign for this Texas offense and Texas team to get one of their leaders back. Here they've just got a lead coming up front. Doyle doing a nice job of pulling from that backside, opening some space. And next thing you know, with Jonathan Gray's excellent vision, he's on the 2nd level, and once he gets there, he's in the open field, and it's a long day for secondary trying to tackle him.
2 tight ends set, actually 3 tight ends in as Swaim will motion left. Give to Gray, can he finish it off? Fighting, no. Well, Taylor Doyle, 74, with Marcus Hutchins, 76. 2 guys who maybe Texas fans don't know much about, but Joe Wickline, the new offensive line coach and co-coordinator, has come down from Oklahoma State, has really been cross-training a lot of these guys.
sometimes getting a new coach, it's a fresh start for these players. Taylor Doyle hasn't really maximized his potential yet, but you saw him there opening up holes on 2 different plays.
Saw Wickline standing behind Charlie Strong, one of the most respected offensive line coaches in the business. Good job by North Texas in their front, really stacking the box. 3rd and goal, and now an opportunity for Sean Watson and Wickline to decide whether they want to go play action and throw it here or try and pound it in.
You nailed it, KD. In a situation like this where you've been pounding the rock and wearing down this defense, it wouldn't surprise me to see a quarterback keeper, play action pass, get somebody out in the flat to be a target for David Ash.
3rd down and goal. Hand off to Gray, puts his head down, and he did not get it. You can already hear the crowd urging their first-year head coach to go for it, and I don't think anyone ever budged from the bench. They are going for it. Dan McCarney hoping his defense can get a stop.
All fall camp he planned for these opportunities. Now it's here. Can they seal the deal?
4th and goal. Ash trying to get De La Torre in motion. Finally does. Play action. Ash looking for the corner. Can he get it? Yes! Touchdown, David Ash!
And the risk pays off. And what do? You give it to your quarterback, David Ash, who's athletic enough to outrun linebackers like he did on this play. Play action is what we talked about before previously. The ability to suck in the defense, which allows David Ash to catch the edge. And you see the determination here. At that point, he's deciding, I'm running. All of his passing options were covered. David Ash making the right decision there, and it leads to points.
8-play, 53-yard drive culminating in the Ash touchdown on 4th down. Now Rose on for the extra point. It's good. After missing 10 games a season ago, David Ash is happy just to be playing some ball. Charlie Strong, happy to have him. Welcome back to Austin. The Texas football team with a 21-0 lead over North Texas. We're taking a look at the Texas Hoop Squad, or part of it. Big Cam Ridley, Jonathan Holmes in the white in the middle. Marcus Holland, Connor Lambert. Texas expecting big things in hoops after a nice bounce-back year a season ago. David Ash looking for his own bounce-back. 1-yard touchdown, 8-play, 53-yard drive.
Now, Sean Watson said earlier in the week, he said, balance is about doing what you need to do to win and to score points. They're an excellent job of controlling the clock and playing at their own tempo. They did exactly what they wanted to on the defense and finished it off on that 4th and 1, which, you know, you've got to have confidence in your team to be able to do that. Sean Watson thus far has called an excellent game, and I think he's putting his players in the right position to make plays, and that is why Texas is up 21-0.
Sean Watson, fresh off of coaching Teddy Bridgewater into a first-round draft pick. No reason to return it for Carlos Harris until he's eager to get out there and give it a shot. Harris is an electrifying athlete for them. We'll see who's under center. Andrew McNulty looks to be the guy coming out. You see Josh Greer with the red hat turn backwards. Never like that as a player, AB.
Yeah, that means that the coaching staff at this point is going to go to their backup. And like I said, expect to see this young man at 6'1", 209. He's much more athletic than Greer. He's going to run the football, so this Texas defense will get a challenge before facing off against Taysom Hill and Brett Hundley later down the road.
Texas defense has been up to the challenge so far. UCLA offense had their own issues in this game. That defense won the game for them. They only scored 7 points on offense. Give right to Pegram. Reggie stopped after a gain of 2 or 3. But the name Reggie Pegram rings a bell. His brother Eric also played for North Texas and was on the Steelers' 1995 Super Bowl team. Ahmad, some good genes.
And you want that. You want players that have that pedigree, that understand what football is all about, and they're passionate about their sport.
Reggie will get a little break. Pretty deep backfield for North Texas. We've seen already 4 guys come in, 2 of them freshmen, and Wilson and Ivory. Little give this time to Antoine Jimerson, the junior. His offensive coordinator, Mike Canales, said we call him the Jimmy Show. He's got a little shake to him.
He does, but that time he was shut down by number 1, Shiro Davis, who stayed at home and followed that play as it kept bouncing from hole to hole. Shiro Davis is a player this coaching staff believes is one of the best up front at defending the run.
It's opposite of his rep coming out of Louisiana high school as an edge rusher against the pass. 3rd down and 6. McNulty will give it to Jimerson, heading left. Can he get the corner? No, Duke Thomas able to push him out, and a late flag will come in. Texas returning the favor of giving North Texas a 1st down after they got a freebie earlier.
And that appeared to be horse collar. You can't even grab the back region above that number or name without it being called.
After the offensive player is out of bounds, number 21, unnecessary roughness. Be a 15-yard penalty, personal foul, automatic 1st down.
Ahmad, I was with you. I thought it may be horse collar, but it's going to be unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it here. Duke Thomas doing a nice job of fighting through the block. And that is where they called it. That last part, because he didn't take him to the ground, it wasn't horse collar until he tried to finish him off on the sideline. You've got to be careful there with your aggressiveness.
Good call there by the officials. 1st down and 10 as that keeps the drive alive. Low snap. Give to Jimerson, finding a hole. Tackled by Jordan Hicks. Clock still running. North Texas has all 3 timeouts. Hicks already making his presence felt. Second down and 5. We're coming up on the 1-minute mark. McNulty, play action. Thomas coming off the edge, and it's intercepted. This time, Adrian Colbert with the pick. 3rd one of the for the Longhorns this half.
Adrian Colbert finally being rewarded with some play time. He, Dylan Haynes, and the freshman Jason Hall all getting quality reps back there, and the coaching staff there said they're going to play all 3 guys until they separate themselves. Adrian Colbert here in the right position as a middle-of-the-field safety. He stays on top. That's where he should be. He's at the top. He's out of your screen now, but as a quarterback thinks that space is there. It wasn't an accurately thrown ball, but Adrian Colbert was in the right place to even make to secure the tackle and to allow Texas to continue to play. But he's treated with an interception and the 1st of his career.
UNT has completed 1 pass today. They've thrown 3 interceptions. David Ash now with 50 seconds to go. It's going to go deep, looking for Ja'Cory Warwick. Incomplete. James Jones on the coverage. He was all over it.
That was just an excellent job of pinning the wide receiver to the sideline, and he ran the route there. Number 13. The coaching staff really likes this senior. You saw him there, just a great job of fighting for that football. Almost came up with the interception, but he was in a prime position to make a play on the ball.
Jones, one of 3 returning starters in the secondary. It's not a veteran unit, but that's where the experience is. David Ash now thrown to the ground. And another sack for North Texas. Tillman Johnson, excuse me.
Taylor Doyle having a rough go at it there and leaves his quarterback exposed. David Ash being taken down to the ground by a 4-man rush for the 2nd time tonight by this North Texas defense.
actually Dutton Watson who's able to make the play. 3rd down and 17, and Texas will have to snap it. They do, just hand it off. Contact made by Malcolm Brown as he was tackled by Akune. And the first half is done with Texas with a 21-0 lead. What has stood out so far, Ahmad?
Well, the fact that they've played wonderful defense, and you knew this was a group on offense for North Texas that may struggle early on as they're trying to find a way at the quarterback position. But the Texas defense on 3rd downs has been excellent. Vance Bedford is dialing up the appropriate plays, and the defense is executing.
Let's go down to the 3rd member of our team, Sean Adams, who's with Coach Strong.
Coach Strong, your defense has given up 31 yards, 3 interceptions. How's your defense been able to suffocate North Texas so much tonight?
Well, we're dominating up front, and that's what we had to continue to do. We're stopping the run, and we're trying to make them throw the football. And when they're throwing the ball, we're getting pressure on the quarterback. But we still have to continue to just mix it up and just not allow the offense to get in a rhythm.
Coach, David Ash has played pretty well. He showed some leadership skills. What have you seen from him that tells you that he's doing good stuff for his offense tonight?
Well, he just needs to settle down, and that's what we did. We just got to get a rhythm going there on offense. You know, early we were kind of just trying to just run a play. But once he settled down, then he was able to make the throws and just get us in the right checks.
Thanks, Coach.
All righty, thank you.
Sean, thank you. Charlie Strong looking for a win in his first game as a Longhorn. His defense has been there. Jordan Hicks with one of the 3 Texas picks. Malcolm Brown running tough. David Ash says, I can do a little bit of that as well. Charlie Strong loving it. Texas up 21-0. You're watching Texas football presented by HEB. Texas leading North Texas 21-0 as we start the 3rd quarter. Kevin Dunn here with Ahmad Brooks. Ahmad, the Texas defense has been dominant, 21-0 lead. What stands out to you?
Oh, it's easy to see the influence that Charlie Strong has had on this team. They've been aggressive, they've played with fundamentals, and they've played with great effort. Those are things that this coaching staff grades on Sunday after a game. And I can tell you right now, this Texas team is working its way towards progressing. And I really like that. Talk about the defense. No 3rd down conversions for this North Texas team. They've been outstanding, and you heard Coach Strong at halftime say it's about the guys up front. Vance Bedford doing a nice job of mixing up coverages along with his blitz package, and that's been the reason why Texas has been successful.
Dan McCarty looking to see if his offense can get something going. He's already changed quarterbacks. We'll see if McNulty comes out again. Andrew came in to replace Josh Greer. Only 1 completion for North Texas in this game. They've thrown 3 combined interceptions, 2 of those from Greer. Eric Keena, the sophomore, will be kicking it off. Duke Thomas, 21. Marcus Johnson, number 7. Deep to return. Both guys are speedsters. Ready to get this second half underway from DKR. Johnson will take a knee. For a report on North Texas, we go down to the 3rd member of our team, Sean Adams.
I was able to catch up with Coach Dan McCarney. You know what he said? He talked about the fact that they didn't respect the ball. And at some level, he was very right. They were -3 in turnovers. So what he's talking about now is they've got to figure out how to respect that ball, make sure they don't turn it over. But he was appreciating the fact that they did not have to, deal with the issues that they had going forward.
Thank you, Sean. Red hat. Not where you want to be if you're a North Texas quarterback. David Ash, the Texas quarterback, has been excellent for the Horns. Give right to Malcolm Brown. Game tackled by the Mean Green. He will get forward progress.
Malcolm is such a patient runner. He's one of those guys that he doesn't rush when he has the football. His great vision allows him to be able to decide where he wants to go with the football. And when he squares up those shoulders and decides to go downhill, that's exactly what he does. Malcolm Brown off to a good start here.
6 yards after contact. Call that yak. That's something that's been a big part of his game. Pistol look. Ash out to Shipley. Drops the football. But they're going to call that a catch, and that'll be good enough for a first down.
They are taking advantage of one-on-one opportunities as you see Jackson Shipley. We've seen this route before, just a speed out. The defensive backs are playing so far off. They're creating that space for David Ash to be able to fire that thing in. And of course, Jackson Shipley have excellent connection and timing on their throws.
Of course, younger brother of Jordan Shipley. John Watson, the offensive coordinator, said without hesitation, the most detailed player I've ever been around. Ash rolling right. Gets rid of it. It's again caught by Shipley for a short gain. How does he compare with his brother Jordan for the Texas fans or college football fans that saw him play?
Well, if you put him in this jersey and you went back to
same jersey
those great
number.
moments, I mean, to be frank with you, you really can't tell the difference. And even talking to Jordan, Jordan has been quick to say that his brother has more gifts. He's a tad bit taller, a little faster. And Jackson has just been plagued by some injuries. But when this young man is on the football field, he's an excellent, excellent player.
Trips to the left now. Two of them tight ends. McFarland will come in motion. Give right. Brown. Well, Malcolm Brown didn't look like he had a lot of room to the short side, but he made the most of it. Bring up third down and short.
I want you to watch this left side of your offensive line. Watch Dom Espinoza right here finishing off blocks. And then, of course, Malcolm Brown just continuing to churn and move those legs and pick up some tough yardage. At that time, Dom Espinoza, one of the leaders of this group. When we talked to him earlier in the week, I said, yeah, you've definitely developed your cerebral part of the game. But where I've seen him improve the most is the physicality. And there you saw it.
Third down and 1. Shipley in motion. Brown. That's enough for a first down. We've mentioned Joe Wickline, the new offensive line coach for Texas, and here's what he has to deal with. Now, Desmond Harrison, who from all reports was having a pretty good camp at tackle, he is suspended for this game. So Marcus Hutchins making his first career start, and really outside of Dom Espinoza, AB, not a lot of experience on this unit.
Yeah, but they've cross-trained. They know what each other are doing. And they've done a good job already early tonight of communicating.
Play action. Ash to Johnson. Let that sail a little bit. Kenny Byers is on the coverage. Byers saw the C there, the captain. He's gone from a walk-on to a captain in a year, and along with James Jones and also Laramie Lee, the strong safety, really the heart of this defense, which replaces a lot of guys after a 9-win season a year ago. Ash over the middle. Once again, John Harris. And John Harris is having a career night. That is his 6th catch. That is one more than he had all of last year.
A nice job of just finding space. You see him there cut right in behind that defensive back in front of the linebacker. Got one more look at it, and David Ash standing tall in the pocket. That time they're catching the ball out in front with his hands, not his pads. And the senior is taking advantage of his opportunities at this point. He's got 6 receptions on the night, 2 drops that I'm sure he'll try to clean up down the road.
See a lot of 2 tight end sets for Texas. Malcolm Brown heading left, following McFarland. He gets a block from Shipley, and he's inside the 10. The senior from Cibolo Steele High School outside of the San Antonio area, carrying Texas.
Dominance on the front line. Watch the left side there. Cedric Flowers, Kennedy Estelle, Jeff Swain, all out in front. MJ McFarland, and even downfield, Jackson Shipley doing a nice job. Watch how far he goes down the field before even being touched by a North Texas defender. That is what you call push up front. Right now, Texas is winning the line of scrimmage.
Good for 26 yards. Brown's longest run of the night. Ash rolling right. We'll get it to John Harris. Harris bounces off one tackler and is in for the touchdown. Harris is a big boy, Ahmad. Kenny Byers just bounced off.
Yeah, and you saw it there. We saw this play early in the day. John Harris coming from the backside off of a play-action fake. This has been a go-to play for Texas, getting the defense going one direction and booting David Ash out on that play action. It's been successful. They've converted 2 third downs, and now tonight you see a touchdown from John Harris, the senior, happy, as well as his teammates for him finding pay dirt.
75-yard drive finished off by a Nick Rose extra point. David Ash, happy to be healthy, happy to be throwing balls to John Harris. The senior makes it 28-0 Longhorns. John Harris, Texas leading North Texas 28-0, 10:35 here to go in the second half. Kevin Dunn, Ahmad Brooks here. Darrell K. Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium. Season opener for both clubs. Texas opening up the Charlie Strong era. North Texas coming off a 9-win season. Really changed the expectations in Denton. James Jones and Carlos Harris are back. It's going to be a penalty flag. Good field position for North Texas.
This is the type of senior leadership and production this team needs to play well. John Harris, after having a few early drops, you saw him come back here, make good decisions, beat one-on-one matchups, and look at the strength and the power of this young man. He's a load. And right there, a nice stride, creating separation. David Ash putting him on point, but he finished this play the way he's supposed to. He was hungry. He wanted to get to that line, and now you see John Harris kicking back and thinking to himself, that's 2 more catches tonight than I've had on my entire career. Big boy is putting in work.
Well, you know, there was a lot said about John Harris and was he going to shine under the lights. This is not the first time in his 4 years here on the 40 acres that Texas fans had heard that John Harris was having a good camp. It just hadn't really translated under the big lights.
And I think he's mature enough now to handle the pressure, and you can see it. He's just playing with more confidence.
First down and 10 from the 35. Greer is back in. Hands off to Pegram. Wandre Diggs with a tackle. Let's go down to Sean Adams for more on John Harris.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting stories about him is that he was struggling with football. He thought he had been recruited past, and in some ways was trying to decide if football was still for him. He's getting a great education here. He stuck it out. He got a new staff, and look what happened tonight with the new start.
It's a great point, Sean. Same thing with Marcus Hutchins on the offensive line. One of those guys who had been passed over. Pegram fighting for a first down, dragging Jordan Hicks. And Ahmad, I think that's something that it's not even a knock on either staff one way or the other, but sometimes you get fresh set of eyes to look at you and you get another shot.
Well, it happened to me my senior year when they brought in Dwayne Aquina, and for players, sometimes that can revive your energy and get you back to playing good ball.
Pegram again, tackled by Adrian Colbert. Well, this Texas defensive line, I think it's safe to say they won the battle against the North Texas offensive line. Maybe the strength of each team. That was the matchup everyone was looking forward to seeing. Desmond Jackson, Ced Reed, and Jordan Hicks all there. Through at least the third quarter of this ball game so far, the tackling has improved for Texas.
It has been. And they've been stellar tonight as no third down conversions. Here again, this defense trying to make that happen.
0 for 6. This be lucky number 7 for the Mean Green. Greer with pressure gets rid of it. That's not going to be enough. Pegram did not catch it as Michael Thompson comes over and delivers a pretty physical shot.
The physical part of the end of that play was one thing to mention, but he once again anticipated the play. You see a senior starting to mature, recognize what the offense is giving him. They keep everything in front. You see he's already coming downhill. Michael Thompson recognized the play, seeing that Shiro Davis, his defensive end, who was in coverage, needed some help. And what an excellent tackle there. And this young man has gotten more physical as he's become a safety, and it is good to see him mature and blossom at this age.
Texas coming after it. Osick gets it away. Shipley will call for a fair catch at his own 11. And Texas up 28-0 gets the ball back. Texas leading North Texas 28-0. Beautiful Austin, Texas. It's above the Austonian. Great shot of DKR. Longhorn Network is now available on Watch ESPN. You can watch your Horns anytime, anywhere. It's available on both iOS and Android devices. So if you have the Longhorn Network app, it should automatically switch it over to Watch ESPN. Certainly download that as well. First down and 10. David Ash will hand off to Jonathan Gray. David Ash, when playing last season, was pretty effective. See his numbers tonight: 14 for 22, 145 yards, a touchdown. But as Charlie Strong has mentioned many times, Ahmad, drive the bus.
Manage this game, and that's not an insult to him or his talent. That just means you got two talented running backs in the backfield. Make sure you get them in the right play, manage the offense from that standpoint. They still want him to be a playmaker and a game changer, and he's done that tonight.
Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron. There have been some pretty good quarterbacks the last couple of years. These successful quarterbacks who did just that. 3rd and long as Greg gets another carry. Well, the North Texas defensive line is coached by a name you'll probably recognize, Kevin Patrick, who was one of the stud defensive linemen on those old Canes teams. In fact, he played with Rock, The Rock. How do you like that?
It's one of my faves.
Wrestling legend. Remember Kevin Patrick, though? He used to tie up his jersey.
Of course you would remember that.
Well, he would tie it up, kind of West Coast style. He was Vidaris and some of those guys. An excellent lineman. Now is doing a pretty good job at North Texas as a defensive line coach. 3rd and 7, Ash rolling right. Finds his man, Jackson Shipley. Who else? Good coverage, but that was right on the money.
Great awareness there by David Ash. He felt some pressure on the backside, and without even glancing at it, he knew exactly where to go as he's moving closer to his wide receivers. You see the pressure coming from the backside. He felt it. And an excellent location down and away there for Jackson Shipley to make that catch.
First downs for Texas. Ash aiming right. Gray tripped up. We've seen a lot of those stretch plays, Ahmad, and then waggles or boots off of that. And that gets back to what Sean Watson told us, that part of keeping David Ash healthy is, speaking of healthy, this is not a good sight for Texas fans. Senior center Dom Espinosa. Looks like he wants to be helped up, and that would be a better sign for Texas fans. He has started every game and really the leader on that offensive line. Makes all the calls. There's the right ankle.
You see there, Anthony Wallace just rolls up on that ankle. He's finishing off the block there. Just an unfortunate play that took place, and now you see Jake Rawson coming off, the freshman, He's very talented, and I might say, Dom Espinosa has taken him under his wing and tried to teach him as much as he can.
Salina, the bell cow, or really the guy who organized his recruiting class, committed early and then was calling guys left and right. Ash moving left is going to slide, and that's what Texas fans want to see. I want to see a 15-yarder to go with it. Will not get the call, but we mentioned David Ash when he runs, he's got a slide, but even on that type of call, Ahmad, he gets back to Sean Watts' point, change the launch pad.
Well, and when you change the launch point, you're able to protect him, but it also gives him an opportunity to be moving downhill. And so he's not just a sitting target. And there you see David Ash was aware of that. He didn't want to take a lick and does the smart thing by getting on the ground.
Think you would have done that last year?
No, absolutely not.
Well, all of them have told David Ash to get down. Malcolm Brown was laughing and said, we all tell him. Jonathan Gray actually yells at him as play clock is going to expire. See if Texas got a timeout, and they're going to get it. Timeout, Texas. They lead 28-0. It's been a great night for Texas until, well, really until this happened. The brains and heart of the offensive line, senior Dom Espinosa, really tried to tough it out. Now is putting a little weight on his right ankle. We're getting word from the sideline and Sean Adams, it is a high ankle sprain. This can take a long, long time to get healthy. Incomplete, intended for Jeff Swain. Well, it's even more important now, Ahmad, that we talk about that depth offensively, but especially on the line.
Well, he's off the field there, and Jake Rollerson had a tough time there. I mean, the defensive lineman there just shakes him out of the way and gets to the quarterback, applies pressure. You don't realize how valuable a player is like Dom until he's gone. Jake Rollerson coming off the sideline, no stretching, hadn't warmed up, and is forced to go out there and play against the defensive line for North Texas that's fared pretty well tonight.
Patrick's crew has done a nice job. Texas with pressure, couldn't get there. And Harris thought that maybe able to get away, but Bryson Eccles was there to make the tackle. Done a nice job on Carlos Harris, the junior. Not only a dynamic wide receiver, but also a pretty good punt returner.
KD, here's the difference right here. If you're watching at home, watch number 50, the freshman Jake Rollerson, as this play rolls. Just a little too much inside. He does a nice job of picking up, of course, the twist, but he wasn't prepared. He was back on his heels, and there, the pressure getting to David Ash. Those are the hits you don't want your quarterback to take.
Jarian Roberts, the sophomore, has had a good game filling in for Darrell Mason, who's got an injured ankle of his own. First down and 10. Greer under pressure, and he's going to go down. Hassan Ridgway, 98, and 91, Bryce Cottrell.
Now this is great as you see defensive linemen getting after the quarterback. Just a four-man rush, but when you beat those one-on-one matchups, there's a treat at the end. Two young players getting involved in the action. That's a positive sign. And Hassan Ridgway, mark it down. You will hear about this young man. He's 6'4", 307. He continues to gain weight, and he is a force in the middle.
Sophomore from Mansfield has really come on in camp. Coaches like him. Greer. Incomplete as you see the cart coming out now. Not a good sign. Dom Espinosa, the senior, able to talk to him yesterday. Was really excited about where this team has come and the change under Charlie Strong. Crowd getting into it. 3rd and 19. Shiro Davis. Greer drops it and then will just take a knee. 4th and long. Dan McCarney would like to have this night back offensively.
And that's one of those plays where when it's 3rd and long like that, usually a defense is going to sit back, keep everything in front of them, come up and make a play so that you can get the football back. There's only a 3-man rush there with some defensive linemen spying on the quarterback. But Texas was able to still get off the field with a bobbled snap.
Whistles are blown. This will be a dead ball.
Ball start. Offense, number 8. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Ball start on Jamal Marshall. Randy Crystal, the referee, with the call. So this will back up North Texas even more, trailing 28-0. It's been a rough night for the Mean Green.
This is great for Texas field position and one of the most dangerous areas to punt from if you're North Texas.
Eric Keena gets it off. Shipley will let it bounce. Take a North Texas bounce across the 50, but still good field position for Texas. They will not have their senior center, certainly for the rest of this game. Espinosa being carted off. See the right ankle already wrapped. If you're just joining us, getting reports, it is a high ankle sprain. Bob, those can last, you know this better than anyone, a long, long time.
Well, they linger like the smell of dirty socks. I mean, they stick around, and even if he is to come back, that is going to be an area of pressure that he'll continue to have to get treatment on to make himself as healthy as possible to play.
David Ash, pistol formation. 4 wide receivers set. Almost intercepted, but Ja'Cory Warwick has it. Down the sideline, inside the 10. Touchdown. No, they're going to call him out of bounds. Well, give both teams credit because they kept on playing through the whistle, but almost an interception. Warwick will take the completion for a 1st down.
Cornerback for North Texas, James Jones. He read the play, he came up, and they always tell you, you either knock it down with one hand so you can secure the tackle, but you never go with 2 hands unless you can make the play. That time he chose to do it. Watch him here. He goes with 2 hands. That was the problem. You've got to be able to secure that tackle to make sure Warwick doesn't pick up yards after the catch.
Ash, quick throw. Side to Johnson. Johnson eludes 1 tackler. It is drilled by Marshall. Kenny Byers missed the tackle.
Marcus Johnson hadn't had a lot of touches tonight, but it appears as though the secondary is paying extra attention to Marcus Johnson on the edge because of his blow-away speed. This cat can fly.
I should say really that front line speed, runs straight very well. And a huge juker. Give to Jonathan Gray. Gray trying to get to the outside. He's got enough for a 1st down. Knocked out at the 21-yard line.
And who was his lead blocker? His comrade and his buddy, Malcolm Brown, clearing the way with a nice block. And that is the beautiful thing about their relationship. Those 2 guys are so unselfish. They want to just see the team be successful. Those are the types of leaders you need out in front and the ones that are getting the attention.
See Doyle at right guard with Rollerson now in its center. Hutchins at right tackle. Starters have stayed in on the left side with Ced Flowers, the left guard. Kennedy Estelle, the left tackle. David Ash going to call timeout. Charlie Strong was not happy about something. He's angry right now.
That was a blown assignment. Anytime a coach is doing that, definitely. It looked perhaps maybe in the wide receiver core.
2:13 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's all Texas. Bevo very happy with the start of the Charlie Strong tenure here on the 40 acres. Texas football brought to you by HEB. Longhorns with a 28-0 lead. Coach Strong not happy that they had to call a timeout. What happened here, Ahmad?
Well, you see Marcus Johnson coming on late, and then watch him here. He lines up in the backfield. Now, you see David Ash immediately when he turned around, perhaps it looks like number 84, Lorenzo Joe, was coming on. Maybe they both came on the field at the same time, but Coach Strong not happy about that, as he wants his team to be mentally focused and to continue to grind it out.
Who'd he go to? The wide receiver coach, Les Kinney. Like Vance Bedford, the Texas new DC, also a Texas alum. Ball's on the ground, and North Texas is going to pick it up. David Ash could not control it, and it's picked up by Sir Calvin Wallace. Backup defensive lineman for Dan McCarney's squad, and finally a break for the Mean Green.
Yeah, but a backup at center as well. You're starting to see the difference that Dom Espinosa makes there. It just looked like it might not have gotten all the way to his hands. David Ash got his hands on it, so he's going to tell you he should have had this here. But it looked like he kind of slipped there as he was trying to grab a hold of it. And you see the coaches huddling those two players up on the sideline, trying to get them on the same page.
It's Joe Wickline walking with Jake right now, the offensive line coach. Sir Calvin will probably tell you, I meant to kick that like Pele. It gave him a little bit more room to scoop and go for the big boy. Give up the middle. Penalty flags are down. They're going to blow the whistle here.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. First down.
This has not been the performance Dan McCarney wanted. They've been a little bit sloppy, but you think about only 9 returning starters. They really changed the perception of North Texas football a year ago with the 9 wins and the bowl win, but you got the sense Dan McCarney and his coaches knew that there was a lot of rebuilding to be done. Filling in new players. Give left. Steve Edmond hanging on. Got some help from Peter Jenkins. This the true freshman Jeff Wilson with the carry.
Yeah, and he ran into a wall. And his name is Steve Edmond. Steve fought off the blocker and managed to get in after the pressure was applied, but that's a big boy in the middle of the field, and he's a thumper. And this coaching staff really likes the way he comes downhill and tackles.
Rolling right is Greer, and short hops that one. Let's go back to Joe Wickline, the offensive line coach, talking to Rollerson. Got to get the snap back.
And you can only imagine what a freshman is thinking. Your senior goes down, and they're like, hey, go find your helmet. He's probably scrambling around on the sideline trying to find it. And now, I mean, a tough go at it, but I like Wickline's demeanor. Don't yell and scream at him now. You work on that in the film room.
His reputation is as one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. He did a great job with Mike Gundy in the run game at Oklahoma State. 3rd down and 12. Here comes the pressure. Going to flip it out. And Wilson will end up being tackled by Jordan Hicks. Hicks has had a nice return to the fold here.
Texas nicely recovering from a 5-man blitz. They send pressure. And just running to the football, that makes all the difference in the world. If your guy misses, you're able there to clean it up. And who's there? Superman, number 3, Jordan Hicks. He's a machine. He loves to tackle. He's aggressive. He's physical, and he does it the right way.
Cyril Lemon, you see 62 there, is not a name we've mentioned a lot. We thought we would. One of the best offensive linemen for North Texas, if not the best. He couldn't get out there in time. This is a short hop for Jackson Shipley with a 45. Avoids a tackle and will go down at about the 48. David Ash has had himself a heck of a ball game. Texas leading 28-0. Some of what David's been able to do. Seen him use his feet as he does here and keep his eyes downfield.
Well, that's what a quarterback's supposed to do, and look at the pocket there. I mean, he could have ran a truck through the middle of that. And then here, once again, making a good decision. You see him there tucking in the football. He knew he had that corner, and he went and got it. Finding John Harris on that backside route. They've seen some success on that play throughout the evening.
Swaim in motion. Quick throw. Out to the freshman. Monty Foreman with a nice gain, and a hat was thrown. No penalty. Texas fans wanted it. And that's one of the freshmen that Texas coaches have talked about. Armani Foreman, 6 foot, 189-pounder. He and Lorenzo Joe, 84, you see right there, have impressed coaches.
He's smooth. I mean, he reminds me a lot of the Shipley brothers when they came in. He's a above-average route runner, and he was the top player in the Houston area a season ago. That tells you this kid can ball. He came in, he impressed the coaching staff with his hands, his ability to learn this offense. He was quick to learn. Now they trust him.
Backfield on the offense. After the play, number 6, unsportsmanlike conduct. Both fouls will be enforced. 5 yards this way, come back 15 for a net 10.
Randy Crystal still very good at math. You nailed that one. That's actually going to be on said Ellis, number 6. And I thought the official, a lot of times if they don't have a flag, you see that, they will throw the hat, and it doesn't mean illegal touching.
Yeah, it's just the first thing there. And you could tell there's the extra contact there by Ellis. And the freshman, though, he didn't go down.
No.
And that's the kind of effort you want from a player who's playing under the lights very early.
Run the clock, under 15 seconds in the third quarter. Quick pass to Jackson Shipley. Shipley hit hard. Boy, that was Laramie Lee. Laramie's one of these guys who's not a loud talker, but he does his talking on the field. Third quarter is done with here in Austin. It's been all strong and all Texas. Charlie, for the most part, smiles. We got 3 in the books. Fourth quarter coming next here in Austin. Welcome back to Austin, Texas. The Longhorns lead the Mean Green 28-0 as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. It's Texas football presented by HEB, and definitely want to thank the Bright Light Social Hour, psychedelic Southern rock band from right here in Austin. Some great tunes. Jonathan Gray upended.
You see Jeff Swain there in your screen. They're all doing a nice job of pushing up front for these linebackers. MJ McFarland coming off the field now, but the tight end position has been one of a question mark, and this staff believes that they can get them back more involved, and 82 is going to have a lot to do with that. He's had a great fall camp catching the ball, but also blocking.
Go back to Jermichael Finley and our colleague David Thomas. Great tight ends here on the 40 acres. That ball is deflected, intended for Marcus Johnson. Kenny Byers was on the coverage.
And it was a 7-man blitz, so he didn't have a lot of time, and they were in his face. And they're starting to bring pressure there on that third down and try to force David Ash to make a quick and sound decision, as Texas is, appears to be in punting formation.
Derek Akune, the senior linebacker. Coach has told us the best player on the defense for sure. And a nice job of getting some pressure. Texas has done a good job of neutralizing number 7 for the most part. Harris is back as Russ is going to come in to punt. I'm sure this will
Delay, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Not a huge deal for Texas considering where they're at, although I don't think Charlie Strong gets any penalties. That may have been one they took on purpose. Give Russ and his leg a little room.
They've been fairly good in that area, though. First game, that's their 5th penalty of the ball game. So they've done a fairly decent job of not making those mental errors and mistakes.
This will go into the end zone for a touchback. Let's take a look at the game stats from tonight. Rushing yards and passing yards. Texas has been pretty balanced. Sean Watson wanted that. You see the turnovers, but Ahmad, knowing you, I got a feeling that last stat there, third down conversion, is what stands out.
This one right here.
I thought so.
I mean, when you talk about it, that's what you want to do. 6 of those 9 have been 3 and outs.
Wow.
This is a defense that's playing with pace and rhythm and toughness, and Vance Bedford is mixing it up with coverages and his blitz package, and right now they are flowing.
What's the biggest difference you see between this defense compared to last year's defense, which had some good times, at times?
I think all of the players are playing with more confidence. Obviously, the physical nature of the game has changed. Their tackling has drastically improved, and that's something where you're seeing this strong staff make a strong impression on them.
Vance Bedford, saw there, the Texas DC came with Strong from Louisville. Give right. He's trying to get Harris something. He is lit up. Michael Thompson. I don't think most Texas fans would recognize number 2 with the shot he put on him right there. And Charlie Strong said, he said, hey, Michael's one of those guys. We looked at some tape from last year, and not everything he saw he liked. He had to really look inside himself and look in the mirror.
The light came on. And I remember in my senior year, something very similar happened. I became aggressive, and I was angry. And you can take that out here on the football field, and it'll be to your benefit.
Pegram will run into DeMarco Cobbs. Cobbs hanging on.
You want to see 2 lay the wood again? Here comes Carlos Harris, that jet motion, and watch this. I mean, perfect balance. He gathers his feet, and he puts his head across the bow. That's what you weren't able to see a season ago. And the forceful tackles like that, they send a message to the offense. Nobody wants to run in your area if you're bringing the wood like that.
You're going to see him play corner, safety, and a little bit of nickel. Give up the middle. That'll be enough for a first down. I mentioned Vance Bedford. Vance Bedford, Charlie Strong, and Dan McCarney all have a special bond. They coached together at the University of Florida. After Dan had done a great job at Iowa State, he became the defensive line coach at Florida. Vance Bedford was the secondary coach with guys like Janoris Jenkins and Joe Hayden. And Charlie was a defensive coordinator. Some pretty talented guys, Ahmad, that they had to work with, but all 3 coaches, when we talked to them, you could tell there's a huge amount of respect for the other guy.
Well, they're all very energetic, too. Dan McCarney, you see him. He's going to be in players' faces. He's going to be very passionate. And Charlie Strong, as we all know, we've seen him a few times tonight. And Vance Bedford, very similar. I mean, these are guys that football means something to them, and the players feel that, and that's why they're willing to give everything they got for their coach.
Dan McCarney said, he echoed what the Strong and Bedford said. I want to kick their butt during the game, but there's certainly going to be some emotions after the game. Nashawn Hughes with a tackle, one of the younger Texas players are excited to see. How about that 08 team, though? You could write a bunch of stories with the offensive guys on the left-hand side, at least some of them, but on defense. And look, the 2 championships, 06 and 08 especially, let's be real, I think most college football people would tell you that they were won by the defense.
Well, Texas didn't have a draft choice a season ago. I hate to remind the fans and people that are listening, but the bottom line is if you're a player and you see that and your coaching staff lays that down on the table as their resume, you are going to listen and be coachable.
3rd down and 2. They're going to give it to Harris. He's fighting for a first down. Another jet sweep to Carlos Harris, the junior. Oh, here are the coaches pregame. They said pregame and postgame. It'll be really nice to catch up. There's Vance and Dan McCarney. And Coach Strong with Dan. You can usually tell if it's fake.
Yeah, that was authentic and real.
1st and 10. The Jimmy Show just gets past Dalton Santos and is tackled by DeMarco Cobbs.
You're starting to see some of the 2s in for this Texas football team, and for some of those close position battles where you're trying to, catch back up with the guy in front of you, these are valuable minutes, and this Texas defense still wants to keep the shutout that they have going on right now.
2nd down and 2. You see Dalton Santos, 55, is in there. Diggs comes up to make a stop. Santos had a pretty interesting offseason. His mother, Vista, had a open heart surgery. She's a single mom with 3 kids. Maybe you've seen it. Dalton went on Twitter, ended up raising $66,000. NCAA said, no, it's all fine, that's all good, but really helped out with the surgery, and prayers go out to her. She continues to improve and rehabilitate. Jimerson, tackled by Thompson. He was able to come up and clean it up.
These last few plays, I've seen a lot of Texas defenders on the ground. One thing that you want to make sure when you're a young player trying to make your mark on the game is be able to confront a blocker, get off a blocker, find the football, and make a play. Coaches evaluate you on that. That's what they call effort. And this coaching staff, they place high value on how you run to the football and how you play with effort.
2nd down and 4. Looks like an old Lynn Amity play that they used to run here in the early 90s where you overly show the counter. That was a tackle partly made by Paul Boyette. Thompson also in there. The crowd getting loud. I think they know they've probably got the win secure, but they would like to see a shutout.
Look to see man coverage on the edges here as Duke Thomas is in press formation. Michael Thompson out here at the bottom of your screen, also ready to defend one-on-one.
3rd down and 5. And down he goes. Ridgeway gets him.
Just a timely blitz here. As you see the confusion here, you'll see a few guys drop off on your screen, but they didn't know where to go. And look at the effort there to just get to the quarterback. I mean, he's got an offensive lineman hanging on his shoelace, and he's still fighting through. Those are the types of plays. You see the excitement from the players and from your coaching staff. They're ready, and they know right now they've got control of this game.
Quandre Diggs back. We'll let this go ahead and bounce. This will take a nice roll. Now, that's one that Quandre is going to want back in the future.
Yeah, it's tough to judge those because when you're hovering on that 10, you don't want to fair catch it or catch inside the 10, so you're very cautious of that.
7:38 to go in the game. Texas leading 28-0.
Football on Longhorn Network is presented by H-E-B. For all your game day needs, no store does more than H-E-B. And in part by the new Chevy Silverado, official truck of the Texas Longhorns.
After 16 years of Mack Brown being the head coach, including 2 conference championships, 1 national championship, it is time for the Charlie Strong era. Texas leads 28-0. Texas football presented by H-E-B. Kevin Dunn, Ahmad Brooks, 7:38 to go in the game. Texas backed up. David Ash looking for Swaim and overthrows it. Well, so far, Ahmad, how would you grade what we've seen from Charlie Strong and his club?
Well, I look at the penalties and you see that this is a disciplined ball club, but I know what Coach Strong is most important and dear to his heart is playing good defense, and he's gone on record a number of times to say that this team won't reach its full potential unless the defense just comes out and flat out plays. They've done that, but they also won the rushing differential. They won the turnover battle. This is a team tonight that has dominated just about every phase of the football game. I'd grade him an A-.
Another play action. This time Ash is going to take off and throw it away. We'll see if he was out of the tackle box. There is no penalty. The officials are going to come together and talk about it.
Running on the field, quarterback was outside the pocket, threw the ball away.
Let's take another look. This was pretty close and always a tough call for officials.
And they've got 5 in, of course, for protection. Make that 6 with a running back. David Ash still scrambling around, but North Texas getting pressure. Their defensive line hasn't given up. And that's a close play. I mean, that's a very, very close call.
That looked to be inside the tackle box. I think the officials have done a heck of a job so far this game. Ball's on the ground. This is probably the best chance for North Texas to score, and they do. Touchdown, Mean Green. Number 13, James Jones, comes out with it.
And it appears here the pulling guard, as David Ash was still kind of underneath the center. He doesn't come out cleanly, and the pulling guard knocks this ball loose from his hands. As you'll see there, Cedric Flowers on his way across.
Well, Rollerson had some issues. I think you're right. That was not Rollerson and David Ash, center to quarterback. That was a guard pulling, which you do see a lot.
And in hindsight here, the experienced and the junior quarterback, David Ash, probably just wants to dive on that football and take the 2 away versus giving them a touchdown in that situation.
Trevor Moore with the extra point, and North Texas finally on the board. Not their offense, it's their defense. A little help from Texas. Texas football brought to you by HEB. Longhorns lead North Texas 28-7. 7:17 to go in the game. Longhorns look like they were on their way to a shutout. North Texas has been dominated by the Texas defense. Only completed 2 passes on the day, but Ahmad, you and I said when they got the punt, we said during the break, this may be their best chance to score, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, being inside your own 5 is too close for comfort, and offenses and offensive coordinators, they cringe at the thought of being that close to their end zone.
Gabe McCarney, after the excellent 9-win season a year ago, will not be shut out here in Austin. Texas 0-9 all time against Texas. And this is Foreman. Foreman showing some speed, the true freshman. Taken out of bounds. We'll be back. Texas leading 28-7. Texas fans enjoying the first Charlie Strong game. Longhorns lead the Mean Green 28-7 here at DKR. 7:12 to go in the 4th quarter. Temperature has cooled. Fans happy about that. 1st down and 10 from the 30. David Ash still under center. Jonathan Gray is his tailback. Gray coming left, will cut back, and not much there. Texas offense in the first half put up 21 points, 180 yards, but most importantly for Texas, their coaching staff, they were clean, no turnovers. Yardage hasn't been bad, Ahmad, but a little sloppier in the second half.
These are things that you have to clean up if you want to beat elite teams. It's about finishing ball games and continuing with your mental focus. Wickline there obviously took a hit tonight as Dom Espinoza has gone off with a high ankle sprain. I have a feeling that also has something to do with the lack of production on offense.
Work in motion. Ash, another play action. Roll right, will let go of it. He finds Ja'Cory Warwick, who is hammered, but not after a 1st down. Kenny Byers with the tackle.
This is just a great job of Ja'Cory Warwick, understanding spacing and working for his quarterback downfield. He was covered up. It did a nice job of spinning out of that, getting upfield, and finding the sticks and moving those things. But Ja'Cory Warwick is a young player. They like his quickness on the inside. He creates a lot of mismatches with safeties and linebackers when they're trying to check him.
Down in 10. Ash get rid of it before he's tackled. He's definitely out of the tackle box there. Let's go back to Dom Espinosa's injury, the senior center, and just got rolled up, and this is where linemen got to be careful.
Yeah, and he's finishing off the block there, and it was just an unfortunate, freakish injury. And you've seen this young freshman, Rollerson, the connection between he and David Ash. They haven't gotten as many reps together. That's apparent here. And even then on that play, David Ash didn't quite clearly have the entire ball before Cedric Flowers knocked it out. But Rollerson has a way to grow, and this coaching staff will help him do that.
Rollerson from Salina came in as an offensive lineman / defensive lineman. And this is give to the right side. Going all the way down is Foreman. Can he finish? No. But Deonta Foreman, Armonte's brother, he actually came in late because of some transcript issues, but got everything cleaned up. And, you know, this is a guy who's not been practicing for very long, the true freshman.
And this will keep you third string and maybe get you some touches. That's just right up the gut. He bounces it out. And a great acceleration through the second line of the defense. And this is a kid that has great strength and playing speed for a running back at this position. He's sturdy, and there he's showing his quickness and speed.
Mormons are from Texas City, went to Texas City High. To 6'2", 215. Was dropped by Warwick. We're seeing really these second string skill position guys in, really third string for Foreman, but the wideouts was second string, and this is where Les Koenig, the wide receiver coach, and Sean Watson are hoping to build some depth.
They're going to get some opportunities here. North Texas has decided to hover around the box. They're putting anywhere from 6 to 7 people inside of there, trying to prevent Texas from milking the clock and winning this ball game in a running fashion.
Dave McFarland in motion. Foreman. A taller running back at 6'2". How does that change maybe how you need to run, or as a defender like yourself, how you approach it?
Well, you've got to run with great pad level. I just remember trying to tackle Ricky Williams in practice, and the only thing this guy would give you is his helmet, his shoulder pads, and his knees. And nobody wants a piece of that. So as a taller back, you've got to be able to get down in your stance and run with great pad level. That's something that all tall backs have to focus on.
Ricky and the guys coming up, Texas game day final, once we're done here. Ash, under pressure from the right side, was looking for Lorenzo Joe, but that's not what Texas fans want to see, especially in a 28-7 game with 4:26 to go.
Yeah, the communication here between the freshmen, maybe the freshman could help him a little more here. But the blitz was coming. Once again, David Ash taking another hit.
I don't think anyone questions how tough he is, but at what point do you maybe take him out? It looks like they want to finish this drive as Nick Rose is going to come in to try and hit a field goal. Rose is 0 for 1. We'll see if that is it for David Ash. This looks much purer, and it is, and the 34-yarder is good for Rose. David Ash, all smiles. It's all Texas. It's now time for our strong play of the game, powered by the new Chevy Silverado.
And this was just fantastic game planning by Sean Watson, but the finishing comes from number 9, John Harris, the senior. Oh, bringing the wood on the offensive side of the ball. Now it is a Longhorn party after a touchdown.
Texas trying to finish it off here. You think this is it for David Ash? You bring in Tyrone Swoops, the second string quarterback, if Texas gets another possession back?
I think so. I think Tyrone Swoops will get, you know, the last few snaps and drives, and he'll just be handing off to his running back. But you do think right now, after the few licks that he's taken, I think this coaching staff will back off and bring David Ash to the sideline.
Nick Rose to kick it off. Kidsey and Harris are deep. It will not matter as Rose booms it. For our leaders tonight for Texas, David Ash, 19 of 34, 190 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Jonathan Gray, coming off the Achilles injury of last year, 16 carries, 82 yards, good for 5 a clip. How about John Harris? 2 more catches, than he had all of last year.
Jonathan Gray with that big 42-yard run. And all of those guys playing well. And when you can get that type of production from your leaders, it certainly helps. Because those are the guys that are talking in the locker room. And you've got to be able to earn the right to speak by producing like they have tonight.
Saw Jordan Hicks coming over, defensive leader. We talked to the offensive guys. Give left. Saw Alex Norman chasing that down. Well, we started the telecast off talking about some of the changes with Charlie Strong. One of those during camp, all the players had to stay in Jester, and the coaches actually even did that, Jester Dorm. And what that did, talking to the players, it created a closer bond. Ahmad, I mean, if you're living with each other and literally spending 24/7 with each other, I guess you gotta, like family, you gotta learn to get along.
Certainly do.
Almost intercepted. Tim Cole wanted that one. He's going to look at this on film and say, I should have had one, AB.
Yeah, Tim Cole doing a nice job of just getting underneath. And he duped the quarterback by making him think he was going to go outside, and watch him slide just right back underneath. This was a guy that the staff last year was really high on. When Greg Robinson became the defense coordinator, he was immediately inserted into the starting lineup, and he's looking to gain more reps.
Third down and 10. This is intercepted. DeMarco Cobbs. Can the former running back score? He does. Touchdown, Longhorns. A running back in Oklahoma in high school. He showed he still has the skill.
Speaking of high school, you see the high step into the end zone. The senior there getting rewarded for waiting his time. Another injury-plagued player, but one thing the coaching staff said about him, he's got excellent speed, and he shows it here. That time, of course, the wide receiver should have had that football, but Texas in the right position, and Timothy Cole makes him pay by dropping that football. The hit was vicious, and the rest was history as DeMarco Cobbs with a nice high step there at the end of the run. 4 turnovers for North Texas. And I believe Texas has also done a good job of creating that with the pressure and the packages they're running.
You're right, because all 4 are interceptions, and at least 3 of those certainly caused by pressure that got the quarterback a little too quickly.
Yeah, and you see here, once again, there's pressure in the quarterback's face. And he almost dropped that thing, hit him right in his breadbasket. And right here, the high step by the senior. That's nice.
The only thing he didn't do was move the ball to his left arm. He went Emmitt Smith and kept it in his right, but Vance Bedford having some fun. He said, the main thing I want these guys to go out and let it go, let it loose. Don't play robotic, be yourself, smile, have fun. So far, so good for Texas.
And they're playing loose. And this is a defense that has not yet given up a touchdown. You know, the 7 points that you see came from the offense, and Vance Bedford, I could see him charging up his players on the side when North Texas did score. And I bet the challenge was, let's keep this goose egg on the defensive side of the ball. And plays like that really help swing it. When you get 7 points back for your defense, after your offense has given up 7, it makes a big difference in terms of the outcome of a ball game.
Well, DeMarco was so fired up, he didn't realize he had to be on the kickoff team. So number 7 back out there. Got any wind left to run down and make a tackle. Rose to kick it off. That is to be kicked out of the end zone. There is a flag back at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, and it appeared as though someone ran off the field late right before the kick.
Randy Crystal.
Illegal formation by the kicking team. Only had 3 players on one side of the kicker. 5-yard penalty.
Let's go down to Sean Adams, who's down on the field.
Yeah, I want to talk to you guys about, you talk about a team playing for each other. Jordan Hicks, when he makes his big play, comes to the sideline, and DeMarco Cobb right there, when he's coming back, the whole team, not part of the team, not one side of the ball, the whole team goes and meets them because they're happy for those guys. They've suffered the injuries, they put in the work to get back, and now they've seen some of the fruits of their labor, so good for them.
Sean, thank you very much. See Nate Boyer in the background, 37. Pretty happy Texas squad right now. 3:32 to go. Hand off to the freshman Wilson. Nice gain. Bring up second down and short. Wilson and also 29 Will Ivory. Really the future of this North Texas run game. Both the freshman running backs and both be counted on heavily. Ivory more in the Antoine Jimerson mode, 5'9". Wilson a little bit bigger, but runs into the Texas defense. 91 Bryce Cottrell was there.
This is a big third down, and part of the reason is, you see that graphic there on your screen? Last time allowing fewer than 100 yards, 2011. They've allowed 81 tonight, so making sure that they can get off the football field here will certainly give this defense and this team some confidence that they can go out with a tough schedule ahead with some excellent offensive players.
3rd and 1. Fighting for the yardage. Jared Lynn will get the first down. I think he was throwing up the hook 'em there, but tough sledding for North Texas. You saw before that 81 yards of total offense. Texas defense has done exactly what the coaching staff told us they wanted to do. Dominated the line of scrimmage. And a lot of 3-and-outs. Vance Bedford said, you know, our defense, we're going to give up yards like any defense, especially in the Big 12, but you do not want to give up large chunks as we take a look at the Longhorns' next 2 games. September 6th against BYU right here at DKR. BYU leads that all-time series 3-1, including the 40-21 win where Taysom Hill went for 259 a year ago. UCLA, fresh off the win against Virginia, where Brett Hundley and that offense did not look good. Of course, you go back to 1997 as this is thrown deep. That will be a penalty on Bryson Eccles. Pass was intended for Carl Caldwell. But UCLA and Brett Hundley did not look good today, at least offensively. But when you focus on this Texas team, you just got to think coming out of this game, how important is the loss?
Defense number 15. He wasn't playing the ball. A 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Of Dom Espinosa and how important that was.
This is costly, and because for Texas, he IDs the players in which to block. He sets the protection, but he's also responsible at sometimes for calling plays in certain systems. So this is a big hit, and they'll have to really help Rollerson, that gentleman that you just saw, Joe Wickline, develop and continue to mature, because they're going to need him if Dom Espinosa is out. These next 2 matches, and these next 2 teams are tough, and they want to make sure that they prove to Texas that they're equally as talented.
Get the sense Wickline thinking right now, what am I going to do with this? You know, we've talked a lot about the cross-training, but Dom Espinosa was the center, and he was the coach on the field. A lot is going to be put on Jake Rollerson. If you're just joining us, Dom Espinosa with a high ankle sprain on the right ankle earlier in the game. Was carted off. To the left side. Here's the Texas full schedule. Talk about BYU and UCLA. I think Baylor and Oklahoma also stand out as back-to-back games that could really make or break this season.
Yeah, the next 4 games, really 5 games, pardon me, are going to be a challenge for Texas, and this is where you'll see what this team is made of, and this coaching staff won't have a long time to get them prepared to play against some formidable opponents. And then you've got a game on the road at Kansas State. Texas has not played well there in the past. At Texas Tech, nobody likes to go to Lubbock. And then at Oklahoma State, even though despite that's a young Oklahoma State team, I still do think in an environment like that, it will be a challenge for these Texas players.
Oklahoma State gave Florida State a better run than people thought tonight. Talk about Brett Hundley and also Taysom Hill. Pretty good quarterbacks Texas will have to face in their run. They've been excellent tonight. UNT only 3 of 4 on third down, and another sack. They'll blow the whistle. Alex Norman, coaches said we need to get 15 to 20 snaps from Alex to give some of the other tackles a rest. That is good news for the Texas coaching staff.
And that rotation that you see in the defensive line is going to be necessary. Why? Look at these quarterbacks that they're facing. I believe Bryce Petty is the best quarterback in this conference, and Trevor Knight has shown a promising future. Brett Hundley struggled today, but he's a player that is as dangerous of a dual threat as anybody in the country, and we know what Taysom Hill did last season. You see his numbers there. He rushed for 1,300 yards as a quarterback. And so this defensive line, having that rotation, having a secondary that can cover downfield, those are all the pieces that Texas needs to be able to plug up on a schedule like this with these types of talented quarterbacks on the opposing side.
Under a minute to go in Charlie Strong's first game as a Texas head coach. It's been a long, long journey for Charlie Strong. He's talked about some of the obstacles that have been in his way. A lot of people have talked about being the first African-American coach at Texas, and also maybe one of the reasons why he was not a head coach earlier. Dan McCarney had the quote. He said, told us, he said, it's an absolute joke that Charlie Strong was not a head coach before 4 years ago at Louisville. And I think Louisville fans will tell you, yeah, that was a pretty good hire.
I think he was waiting for the right job, though. I mean, Charlie Strong could have been a head coach at universities perhaps that might not have had the recognition, but he waited his time. Why? He was a loyal assistant to Lou Holtz, Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, and those guys all speak of his loyalty. I'm sure he had opportunities that we don't know about, but to coach at a prestigious university like this, he waited his time and was able to come out here tonight and get his first victory as the Texas head football coach.
Tyrone Swoops take a knee. Well, who knows what exactly happened or didn't happen, as Malcolm Brown and Ced Reed are going to try and give him a little Gatorade bath for his first W as a Texas coach. But all I know is Charlie never used that as an excuse or talked about it.
No, and in fact, I think he used it as motivation, as most people who've gone through some tough times should do.
Well, if he wasn't orange before the game, he's orange now.
Oh, look at that. You love seeing that big smile and that embrace from the players. They've already grown to love Coach Strong.
Well, it's fitting that Ced Reed and Malcolm Brown gave him the dousing, because Charlie said they've got to win this game for us, and the front four certainly were the start of the victory for Texas. So that'll do it. 38-7 is the final. Ahmad, your biggest takeaway from this game?
They did what they needed to do to win, and I thought the defense pitching out a shutout on their end was important. Everybody that I spoke to out in the Texas fan base was concerned about a defense that 2 years in a row had some of the worst statistics. It was very easy to see the handprint of Charlie Strong and Vance Bedford all over this defense with their tackling, their intensity, their angles, and most importantly, their ability to get turnovers.
And the important thing, when we talked on Longhorn Extra throughout the week, I asked you on Sunday, what should Texas fans want to have had happen? You said good defense, good running game, a win, but also injury-free, and that's not necessarily the case with Dom. Let's go down to the field with Sean, who's with Coach Strong.
Coach Charlie Strong first. You got doused. Your players were happy you got this game tonight.
Oh, it was. It was a great win, just an overall great team victory. And you just look at his defense and played very well, gave up a score there on offense. But just offensively, you just got to get us a rhythm going, and then special teams played very well. But all three phases, very pleased.
You said you wanted to put the T back in Texas. Did you see the things tonight to display that?
Well, we saw toughness, and that's what it's all about. And just a team just playing together and a team having a lot of fun.
Coach Charlie Strong, congratulations.
Alrighty, thank you.
Sean, thank you. And yes, they put the T back in Texas with toughness, but also tackling.
Yes, indeed.
There's one more look at Charlie Strong's dump from the Gatorade bath. Now time for the eyes of Texas.
Welcome to Texas Game Day Final, powered by the new Chevy Silverado. Here's your host, Lowell Galindo.
Charlie Strong led his Longhorns put the horns back on their helmet a week ago. Tonight, they get to light up the tower for the first time. Texas wins their season opener 38-7 in the debut of Charlie Strong as the head coach of Texas football. We have a full hour to break down everything we saw as Charlie Strong leads Texas to the win over North Texas. Lowell Galindo here with Ricky Williams, David Thomas, and Vince Young. We're going to get into this all, but we're going to start with the highlight right off the top. So let's fire it up and show you how it went down. The defense really set the tone initially for Texas, forcing a 3-and-out the first time UNT had the ball. But after that, we saw, well, actually before that, a dude in a jetpack. That was probably the most bizarre thing I saw all night.
Right, that was different, but
3rd and 5 on the first drive for Texas, and it looks like that could have been a conversion. What happened there, though, David?
Well, it looked like the receiver had it in his hands. It was a contested catch, but I think as a receiver, it's one you expect to make.
It's okay. Dylan Haynes, he's got good hands. The walk-on. You just say he needs to return, work on the return a little bit now?
Yeah, it's a little something we're going to work on, but like we said earlier, the baby steps, we're going to start with that first.
Yeah, what you looking at here, Ricky?
Well, that's great vision. He was the safety on the opposite side of the field, saw the quarterback's eyes, got a good jump on the ball, and great hands, secured the interception.
So we got one interception, set up Texas in the red zone. You got to cash in. David Ash fumbled the snap on first down. On third down, flicks it away, nothing there. So Nick Rose, his first career field goal attempt, wide right. So an empty possession in the red zone.
Yeah, the biggest thing is you want to take all the points you can when you're playing football.
Next drive for Texas, 3rd and 6. John Harris. But wait, the hit was a little late. Harris frustrated. He didn't bring that one down, but he gets a second chance because of the late hit. David Ash, dare I say, VY-esque?
Yes, one of my favorite plays today. Protecting the ball and extending the play and making a great throw down the field. Yeah, that's a big play on 3rd and 5. Yes, sir.
Yep. Right here, Ricky's favorite play, power, punching it in from the 1.
How often do you think we saw that tonight?
Not often enough.
And we have plenty of time to talk about that. So Texas up 7-0. Defense, wow, this is good to see. Jordan Hicks, welcome back. How you doing? Tackle for loss for number 3.
I like how he feels in the hole and makes some big plays for us.
3rd and 16, I'm going to go with the Texas defense every time down. Quandre, that is vintage Quandre Diggs.
Yes, it is.
3rd and 12, that is the moment that everybody did not want to see, but Dave Ash took the hit, took a few of them, but he kept on getting up.
Yeah, and that was a play where they only rushed 3, so you really want to see him protect him. What a great play here, though, by Hicks.
2 spin moves. First career interception for the senior linebacker.
And watch here, you can see him look outside. He sees the receiver coming, and then he gets his eyes back on the quarterback, steps right in front of him. This is just a great play. Very veteran play there, savvy to see the receiver outside of him and then step in front of the throw.
Different defense when Jordan Hicks is playing like that. So you got to do something.
Play action.
This was a great throw here, too. A lot of touch.
The turf monster.
Great throw. But you got to give a lot of respect to the offensive line for protecting that long to get the ball down the field.
1st and goal. I'm giving it to that guy. Look at the continual effort of Malcolm Rella that way.
That's a great effort. Plays like this not only get your offense pumped up, but get the defense on the sideline pumped up too.
We got a 14-0 score. Later in the second quarter, DeMarco Cobb's first career sack. Give Michael Thompson half of that one as well, guys.
Yes, sir. Team effort. Team effort.
Another 3rd down. See a lot of 3rd and long situations, but John Harris, he ain't going to be denied here. Wrestles that football away. It takes a whole mean green team to bring him down.
My man, John Harris, I'm very proud of this man today. Very proud of him.
A lot of good stories on players that have been in the program a while and have waited to break out. And great stories like this.
Yeah, here's a great play call. They get in the bunch and run the power. Jay Gray breaks the tackle. You see that burst to get away from another tackler. Great run.
42 yards. Jonathan Gray He's back. 4th and goal. Of course you go for it, right, DT?
I love it. It's 4th down. You got to get in the end zone.
Go, baby!
He was decisive. As soon as he saw he had the corner, he tucked it away. And then the emotion. This is the David Ash I like to see. When he's got emotion, he's passionate. And when he's acting like this, when he's got emotion, that's when you really see his teammates respond to him.
Exactly. Seeing that type of toughness in him, I mean, your team gonna definitely love it.
21-0. North Texas back on offense. Didn't really have a chance. Adrian Colbert, welcome to the highlight. First career INT for you.
And I'm very proud of him because this guy tried to want to race me in the 40-yard dash, so I'm definitely going to challenge him about that one.
Charlie Strong's like, where do these guys come from? Man says, I've got a defense to work with. MJ McFarland, nice block on the outside. Malcolm Brown doing the rest to take it down to get into scoring position. Would they cash in? Play action. John Harris.
Let's get big, big boy.
No! He blew him off.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you saw the turf monster got him the first one down there close, and that one he wasn't going to be denied. That's a tough physical run to finish it.
No, sir. This is a moment, however, you do not like to see. Dominic Espinosa pulling on the play. He goes down, holding his right ankle. The word at this point, sprained right ankle.
That's a big blow to this offense.
Yeah.
He had 30. This was his 40th career start. He's been the rock and steady guy for the offensive line, so that's going to be one that hurts.
All the other O-line starters coming into this game, 10 combined career starts. There's Jordan Hicks showing off the rim.
He was all over the field today.
That is just classic Jordan Hicks. When healthy, he is a game changer. Green Mile. Say hello to the mean green. That's a Sean Ridgeway.
That's a big, big man. I love the excitement, too. Everybody's having fun and playing the game. That's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty bold for Chris Rump to get a part of that chest bump there.
Yeah.
He can knock you over. How about another INT? DeMarco Cobbs,
Show
my guy
speed,
right here.
too. Show a little speed.
Look at that. Pick 6, his first career interception. What do you think of this move? First career win. Is it worthy of the Gatorade bath? Because Charlie got it.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think that's for championship games. But you know what? You got to get, if you can't win them all if you don't win the first one. So you got the W.
Starting a new era. That's awesome for him. I'm happy, definitely happy for him.
Charlie Strong triumphant in his debut as a head coach of Texas, 38-7. Texas was looking for that shutout, almost got it. There was a fumble in the end zone that North Texas recovered. Wow. So the Texas defense said, well, we'll get 7 for ourselves with that DeMarco Cobbs pick 6. What are you looking at when you see the numbers here, Viwa?
Mr. Harris, the guy that I was talking about before the game, showed up today, and I'm very, very proud of him because, like I said, he's been through a lot, and he stepped up today and played a hell of a game.
And the coaches were pumping him up.
Yes, sir.
All camp long, said he trimmed down, show more commitment to his craft. And you look, coming in to this game, 5 catches for 141 yards. That's what he had in all of last season. Career high for a year for him. He breaks his single season record of catches in one game tonight with 7, and he's pretty close to doing that with the yardage as well with 110. What was making John Harris effective in this role tonight?
Just being patient, like you said, waiting his turn, learning the playbook, and then getting in there and showing his coaches that he wants them to believe in me and have confidence to throw me the ball and get those one-on-one battles, and he did that today, and I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, a lot of times when you have a new coaching staff come in, you have players who maybe weren't as productive on the field under the old staff, but with the new coaching staff, when they come in, they find new life. You saw that with Harris. You saw DeMarco Cobbs making the play for the touchdown, the pick 6, and those two guys seem that maybe they weren't playing as much under the old coaching staff, but under this coaching staff, the light bulb's coming on, and they made some big plays tonight.
Yeah, the one thing he did is he got open. David Ash had a lot of time back there. He was patting the ball, looking for someone to get open. John Harris did a good job of getting open.
Okay, what's the singular most impressive thing about what you saw here tonight?
Was the defense. There's no question the defense, and I said it at halftime, they were flying around, and they were making plays. There's nothing for me, it's more fun than watching a defense that makes plays.
Yeah.
It's been a little while, so it's refreshing to see.
I thought the whole team really they never backed down. There was aggression, there was attitude. They were always, when the other team would get in their face, they got right back in their face. And I just like the passion and emotion and aggression that they played with.
Exactly. The toughness, just having fun as a team. And it's been a while since we saw that out of our guys. You said we've seen a guy make a play, and not a lot of guys excited about it. So now you see the excitement, the fun, the chemistry. When you see that type of things, you know, you got a great head start of things that you want to do in the Big 12.
So the energy was there. Was there anything different fundamentally or with the scheme that allowed them to do what they did in this game?
A lot of moving around on the defense side of the ball, and then what I definitely like about the offense, we did a lot of shifting, a lot of motions to try to, you know, get the edge, the run plays, and then also getting some good play actions and freeing up our guys with a one-on-one big ball down the field.
Yeah, defensively, it seemed like they really controlled the line of scrimmage, and also just open field tackling. That's something we haven't seen Texas be great at over the last few years, but it seemed like there weren't many missed tackles in the open field.
Yeah,
not only did they not miss tackles, their tackles had a little oomph to them.
Yeah.
And to see them fly around and to really hit like that, I mean, it wasn't just about these tackles, it was the way they tackled, they were convincing tackles.
And the guy that sums that up for me is Michael Thompson. We saw him with a couple of open field, aggressive, thumping tackles in one possession. Quandre Diggs was in the studio on Thursday, and he talked about Michael. And he said, you're just going to have to wait and see him to believe it. But his physicality has improved so much during this fall camp, and he credited a lot of those 3-on-3 drills they would do. When you basically have the DBs pretending to be the O-line, the receivers pretending to be the D-line, and you have to go head-to-head nonstop. Can we safely say that physical approach in camp paid off in a game like this?
For sure. I mean, you know, sometimes defensive players, especially defensive backs, are a little timid. I think all the hitting they've done in the spring and during camp, they were desensitized to their own fear.
Like even Quandre Diggs, that play where he came flying in on a 3rd and long. It's been a while since we've even seen that just pure aggression, relentlessness from Quandre Diggs.
And the biggest thing is Coach Strong challenged them, and it looks like our guys challenged Coach back. And that's a good thing about it. And that's when it's all about having fun and believing in the philosophy that coaches has put in to go out there and have fun and keep challenging each other, because it definitely makes the game fun as well.
And when you mention the line of scrimmage, there are many parts of this North Texas team that were being rebuilt from the team that won 9 games a year ago. But the surest bet on this entire roster was that O-line. That is one of the better offensive lines in all of the non-Power 5 conferences. And clearly, Texas had the edge with that matchup. Who were the guys that stood out most along the D-line?
To me, it was all the defensive tackles. Malcolm Brown, Tank Daxon, Boyette, Norman, I mean, Ridgeway. They seemed like they were in the backfield the whole game, and it all starts right up the middle with those big guys with the defensive tackles.
And you can tell in that defensive line room, they have a way that they play, because whoever was in there, they were getting upfield, they were getting penetration, they were getting off blocks and making big plays all day long.
Yeah. That is a talented and deep defensive line, which will allow you to do a lot of things, especially in the Big 12. When you see guys like Ridgeway, Alex Norman, Paul Boyette Jr. all get a chance, and they come in and make a play, future's looking very good on that D-line for the Texas Longhorns. Offensively, we got some things to talk about. We're going to talk with Sean Watson coming up. But first, we're going to break away for live coverage of Charlie Strong as he makes his way to the mic for his post-game press conference.
Just see how aggressive we were, just how well we tackled. We just talked about just playing physical and being physical. And even offensively, once we got our rhythm, and it's all about rhythm on offense, and on defense, you're always trying to disrupt the rhythm. But once we got back on rhythm, got pace going, then we were able just to move the ball some. You know, second half, we kind of got stalled there in a few drives. But we can play much better. We know we can improve from this game. But it's all about improvement. You like to get the first one in and get it out of the way and just see just how far you have to go. And we know we're nowhere near where we should be. But this is a good measure stick, good way to just start the season off the right way, and it's just great.
Charlie, talking about the defense, did you see the effort and intensity and the flying around that you wanted to see? And did the air go out of the balloon when they fell on that fumble in the end zone?
No, they didn't go out, because when you look at the fumble in the end zone, it's all about the team, and it's never about offense. It's never about defense or special team. It's a team. And just watching them fly around, they did. I think we ended up with four interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, and 3 or 4 sacks. But just you saw the intensity and just saw it all day. And the good thing about it, defensive line-wise, I know we may have, 2 or 3 sacks, but just to see them put the pressure, and it allowed the ball to be thrown, and then just the passes that we were able to tip and get the interceptions off of.
Coach, what does it mean to you personally to get your first win as a head coach in college sports?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's been not my first one. It's my first one here, which is really good. Just to get it in and get it out of the way.
Charlie, do you have an update on Dominic Espinoza and what happened to him?
No, I didn't have a chance to see him. He's still getting evaluated, so we'll be able to. I think the doctor's going to look at him this evening, and tomorrow we'll see. Just get a further evaluation.
Charlie, is this the way that you want to win games here? And how much did you show tonight, and kind of how much did you hold back for later?
Well, we don't ever hold anything back now. We're not that good. We're not a team that just can walk out there and feel like we got something stored away. It's nothing stored away. You saw what we're going to do. And you just like to see us just on offense just be a little more consistent and moving the ball and getting the scores. You know, we get the turnover. You know, Haynes get the interception. We're down in the red zone and we don't score, and then we end up missing a field goal. Then, you know, we're able to take the ball and drive it. But defensively, we got another turnover. Then we capitalize off of that. But it's just when those opportunities come, we have to take advantage of them.
Yeah, Charlie, looked like David was rusty at times and overthrew and underthrew some receivers. How would you evaluate his performance, and what do you think of the protection of him?
Well, just looking at his performance, he could have, obviously they all could have played better, and you're right at times. It's just the rhythm, and then he just had to establish that because you want to make sure that he just controls the offense and he does everything we ask him to do on offense. But protection-wise, you look at us early, we had some drop balls. I think, Harrison Noah, because I said something to him, I think early he dropped 2 or 3 drop balls. You see, it was just too many drop balls when he did, when he was able to deliver it. But sometimes when you feel the pressure, you release the ball when you really don't have to. Just stand in the pocket. You may take a hit, but if you just let the play develop, then, a receiver or someone's going to come open.
Are you happy with those?
Oh, I think he can improve, but just overall, you're just so happy with the win because it's just a total team win.
Charlie, you've talked so much in the last 8 months about putting the toughness back in this school. What did the product on the field tonight compare to the tape you saw before you got here, and how far along is that process right now?
Well, if you look at it, you just talk about missed tackles. I don't know how many we had on defense, but we didn't have many, and that's just a good measuring stick there. Because when you have a chance to go tackle, we had to make the tackle and make sure you don't end up just letting guys just run through the defense. And it's all we talked about. Just make sure we swarm to the football, and it gets established on defense, and it just carries over to offense. I don't know. I don't think we gave up many sacks on offense, but just protecting the quarterback and making sure the offensive line can stand in there. Because when you look at when Don were done, you think about it. We had Jake at center, then we had Said, and Hutch was. The thing about Hutch, I just moved him from defense. 3 weeks ago, my man ended up starting at the tackle position. It played pretty good. Then you had Kennedy and Big Perk on the other side. We'd like to play more guys and roll more guys. And if Dom isn't able to play, then we're going to have to restructure the offensive line. And Wick Line to do a good job of just piecing it together like he did this evening.
Charlie, David took some hits, especially early. Were you concerned at all that some of them might have been unnecessary, or is it just within the flow of what was going on?
No, it's all within the flow of the game. I think the officials did a great job, and the thing we have to do is just do a better job of protecting him. None was just like Outland where the guy just came flat clean and just clocked him, where he got hit from the blind side. Sometimes you see it coming, he just had to deliver the ball. You're going to get hit in this game. So it's all about just, him getting the ball and protecting himself. And even when he took off a couple of times, he slid to once and then just ran out of bounds.
Coach Strong, you had 3 plays today that you gave up 8 yards in a run and 1 7-yard pass. Not one play more than 10 yards. I mean, you got to be happy with that, right?
You have to be very pleased with that on defense because defensively, if you're ever going to win a championship, you have to play great defense. And defense kind of sets the tone for the whole game. And you look at it, we go out there, I think the first drive we were 3 and out. Then the next one is when we got the interception. And then it was just keeping the pressure on them all day where we bring a corner blitz, you bring inside pressure. You're getting balls tipped, you're getting balls intercepted, you're sacking the quarterback, but just all day long. And it's 4 to 6 seconds of just relentless effort on defense. And if we can continue and make sure that our players continue to improve on defense, there's going to be some games where people are going to move the ball, but what we have to understand on defense. The offenses do practice just like you do. They're going to move the ball sometime, but it's all about just being able to just overcome any bad play and just being able to bounce back. Because I always feel like this, offenses are not patient enough just to drive the ball. At some point, they want to strike you, and they want to strike you with a big play, where it be a 40 or 50, where they want to get you back on your heels. If we just stay patient and make them beat us, just drive the ball down the field, then we'll just see how good they are.
Charlie, you talked about Harris and the drop passes he had earlier, but he kind of overcame that. Is that kind of symbolic of the offseason he had to get to where he is? He's talked about being a changed player.
Oh, he has. Now, he's a young man that I had a conversation with him when I came in, and I told him, I said, you're going to have to improve, and you're going to have to get better if you want to be a part of this team. And I just felt bad because I told him about 2 or 3 days ago, I said, you remember a conversation we had? He's like, oh, yeah, Coach. He said, it kind of gave me a wake-up call. And I said, yeah, but you needed that because you're very talented, and you can help this football team. And we were playing him at Z, and then we moved him to X because he's a big physical wide receiver, and he can beat coverage. Because usually when you get to the X receiver, you get a lot of one-on-one coverage, and that's why a lot of balls are thrown to him, because it's just the way defenses try to just shut him down to one side, and he was able to make those catches. But once he dropped those two, then he's able to bounce back and then just start playing and just relax and made those big, it was a big third down. Then he scored on the touchdown where he outran him, but it was just fun to see him come back.
Coach, what did you see out of your safeties in Colbert and Haynes? And was there anything behind Jason Hall really not seeing as much playing time as maybe we imagined?
Well, we started off the game with McHale, who's a vet, and then we were at Colbert, and then on nickel downs, that's when Haynes come in, and Jason, he plays some snaps. I just don't know how many, but, those guys have rolled, and that's what they've done all camp, and Colbert ended up starting, but they're going to get plenty of opportunities, and just one game you really can't measure just how good that group is going to be, because you want to see them improve each and every snap, and then you see Colbert got an interception. Probably should have had another one where he kind of fell down and didn't get back up, and the ball was thrown probably a yard from him. I told him, get up off the ground, go intercept the ball, don't lay there. But he had a chance to get two, then Haynes, the one he made. And then, just watching, then 7 breaks on that one. But just safety-wise, Hall will get his chance. He's going to get some opportunities, and he'll play a lot.
Charlie, a handful of true freshmen did not suit up for the game. Was that injury, disciplinary? What's going on there? True freshmen? Yeah. No, they're freshmen. They just... What? No, I mean, not that I'm being funny. We don't need them right now. Okay. I mean, because if you just look at our football team, it's hard. You just don't want to play a guy just to play him because he's a freshman, and how many snaps is he going to play? Because you think about it, I mean, we got some games that are getting ready to come up, and if a guy's not in it too deep, then we're not just going to play him just to play him. So no uniform probably means red shirt.
No uniform. They probably have that. They kind of have that idea themselves.
Charlie, just building a little bit on what you were saying about John Harris, with he and Cobbs and Dylan Haynes, guys that for whatever reason weren't making contributions before, their performance tonight, is that just kind of a reflection of a fresh start and everybody's going to get a chance if they can contribute?
Well, not so much a fresh start, but I think that what they realize too is they have some ability, and it's time for them to start contributing to this football team. And then I say to guys all the time, I said, it's great to wear the uniform, but at some point you got to help this football team. And I think about even McFarland, what he's done for this team. And then you're right, you look at what Harris did, and then Haynes. But it's a lot of players that kind of stepped up this evening that haven't played in the past, that gave us a lot of good snaps and played very well. And that's what you like to see each and every week to happen, where guys, it may be someone else next week who's going to be, but it may be their turn. But it's all about competitive excellence. And I tell them always, as you're always at your best, and you're having someone else to go reach their best. And that's that drive, and that's that excellence that we're looking for.
And Dennis, we've got time for 2 more questions after Dennis.
Both Jonathan Gray and Jordan Hicks coming off Achilles, both making plays today. How pleased are you with both of them?
Well, I've been saying the whole camp, Gray, if I was to pick an MVP from camp, it would have to be Jonathan Gray, just because his total work ethic. And so it didn't surprise me when he broke that long one down the sideline, and just how hard he works. I mean, that's what he showed this whole fall camp.
and it's just so fun to get him back. Didn't see Hicks get that interception, and it really, he made a big stop there on a big tackle in the hole there. But just to see those two guys after being away and then having that injury and then to bounce back and just show, just because you're looking at two good players that last year didn't get to really show us what all they could do, and hoping we can just keep them injury-free this season and they can get it accomplished.
Charlie, you get the pick six for Cobbs and the interception, first career interception for Hicks. Were those old guys pretty excited when they came back to the sideline?
Oh, it was, because, they always tease Cobbs, and I always tell Cobbs that he's a finesse player. He don't want to hit anybody unless he has to. And that's what I tell him then, to see him get that interception and then go score. But it was so funny, because the series before that, Tim Cole dropped it one. Then Cobbs ended up getting his and going to score. But it's just great to see him play well, because he's very athletic. And he's a guy that in space, that he's unbelievable athlete, because he can cover wide receivers. But that's why I tell him he's a finesse player. But just to watch him bounce back and then to see Hicks. But it's great for them.
Last one, Brian. Charlie, you seem pretty even keel. Is that just because it's first game, long way to go? I mean, overall, yes, I'm sure you're excited about the win, but just overall, is there a long way to go?
Well, we still got games to go play. And I told him, I said, enjoy this one. We'll be ready to come back to work on tomorrow. And, this is a team that we're going to face that, played well, in their opener. And then plus the team that kind of embarrassed us last season with a quarterback who ran the ball all over our defense. So it's looking forward to this matchup. But it's all about the guys enjoying this win, because they really deserve it. Just the hard work that they put in. I told them 9 months ago, I asked them, I said, 9 months ago, I thought I walked and saw a team that had no identity. I thought I saw a team where there was all individuals, a team that just really didn't care about nothing, didn't care about themselves, didn't care about who they represented, had no pride. And then I asked them, I said, guys, what we're going to ask you to do, and you guys had answered the bell. We asked you to put the T back into Texas. I told them you will work harder in preseason camp than you ever worked before, and it was a challenge, and they answered their challenge. And I said, one of you guys says we hit 17 straight days. I don't ever count that many. I didn't think we could hit that many, but since we did, I think it really helped us. But everything that we've asked of this team that they've done, and just to see them come out tonight and play the way, and knowing that we could have played better. There's some areas that we need to brush up and clean up. But it's all about just each and every week just getting better and better and better, and taking it one game at a time. Don't worry about the game down the road. Just let's worry about the next one. And let's get through the next one. Then we'll get through the next one and get through the next one. And that's the way it's going to have to be all season long, because, with the injuries, not so much injuries, but we just have to continue to build depth. And, guys, and it's always going to be someone different to step up and go play. But just to see those two running backs play as well as they played, and the offensive line that we pieced together, play the way they played, and then defensively, it was really good to just watch that defense go out and just perform. But just happy.
When Vance Bedford was the DB coach at Colorado State, they led the nation in interceptions. Same position with the Florida Gators. They led the nation in interceptions. Looks like the Texas defense could be the early favorite to lead the nation in interceptions. 4 tonight, one of them from the spinning Jordan Hicks. We'll hear from Bedford coming up.